Me and Jeanette had met many moons ago, and I was just like, "Hey, you want to do this with me?" It's like a pet project I've been working on. I just got the soundboard. I just got the soundboard, and she was like, so I was like, "I think I'm ready." Oh, I got my AirPad,
Nice.
and so yeah, and we just got together. We had like two executive chairs. We sat here, and I was like, "Oh, maybe we need like more of a table setup."
Yeah.
And so it just progresses.
Absolutely.
So, and we're live.
We've been live.
We've been live.
Yeah.
So, and like me and Jeanette, me and Fabio, we call him Fobs. Fabuloso,
Dario?
Fabuloso,
I like
Fobs.
it. Yeah.
We all met through work, and it's weird because like when you want to start something like this, it's like unless you have like the software, the editing software to like do the images popping up and all that stuff, it's like who would I get to kind of like jump in on me? And who wants to do it? And who's got kind of a good composure? And Jeanette's always been cool as hell.
Absolutely.
So I was like, "Hey, dude, you want to come do this?" And she's like, "Yeah, let's go." And so we just started talking, and then we brought on Fabuloso as our fact checker. But I think I do more of the fact checking than he does. He just likes to hang out, but he contributes like a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has like their thing they contribute, and
I definitely got that vibe yesterday. Like everyone was contributing somewhat, or
they all have their like their thing they add to the equation, and God bless Jeanette. Ever since I've met her, she's just been cool as hell, and she's been able to put up with my antics, my rants, and sometimes I'll admit sometimes I lay it hard to her, like just go off the deep end, and she just like Jeanette she just shakes her head. She's like, "You guys are too much." She's like, "You are too much."
Oh yeah, that happened like yesterday for sure with the
yeah.
Sasquatch shit. That was hilarious.
Oh my God, man! So,
Safe word.
oh, Jeanette's wonderful, and I'll be the first one to say this. Jeanette's, she's our co-host. She's been a co-worker, good friend, smart woman, very, empathetic kind of person, very sympathetic. She's always wanted to help people out, but she knows her limits, including at work. And she's kind of a well-rounded person, and God bless her. She could just roll with the punches, and then when she gets to that point, she'll just start dishing it out too.
Yeah. She has to like figure out the energy.
Yeah.
And then jump in, gain that momentum, and then
I will say this about Jeanette, and I oops, don't want to break that.
No worries.
And I've said this to everybody I know when they ask like oh, your friend Jeanette. I was like, if there's one person that can put down a beer like no one else, that's Jeanette.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people like she drinks like a man. She drinks like a big man.
I would have guessed that when I first met her. Like, I'm like, okay, this is Josh's older sister, so like be, proper.
Yeah.
Don't be too crazy. And then like after like the second or third time, it's like, oh shit, she's one of us.
Dude, she puts them down, and I'm pretty sure in college we may have crossed roads because I played a lot of rugby through college.
Oh no shit.
She hung out with the rugby guys where she went to school at, played out there a couple times. So I'm pretty sure we probably may have crossed paths at some point.
So you played with the Chili's?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Like forever.
When'd you stop playing?
When we started a men's league, like a men's club.
Yeah.
Call it Toads, because too many of us we had been playing for so long, we weren't even eligible anymore. We just didn't have anything else to go to, and we didn't want to drive to El Paso to play in the men's league.
Right.
So we did this thing where there had been a men's league here called the Black Sheep, something like that. And so, but they all got older. They married. So we thought about reviving that team because it was kind of like a local legendish, kind of like people in this part of the state, like they knew who they are.
Yeah.
But we started our own team called the Horny Toads, and
Yeah.
man, we went hard for like 2-3 years. We were traveling, hitting all the tournaments, maybe 4 or 5 years rather, and we were doing really well. We were doing really well. And some years we would make it like up the bracket.
Yeah.
and we would play the Arizona teams. And we, let's see, in Arizona, there's two teams. There's oh gosh, Camelback or Camel something. I know, right?
I'm like, that's cool. I accept it. I accept it.
And there was another one that's really good. It's named after a bird out there, a blackbird. And then, yeah, we would always make it kind of to that level, like to the, what was it, like the mid, I don't know if it was mid-finals, semifinals, but then we'd go up to bracket one, and we always got knocked out by like either like the really good Arizona team, or we would get knocked out by like, the really good California team.
Damn.
Yeah, and there's a really good rugby team in California called the Ombach.
Oh shit!
And I went to a tournament in it's called the Devil's Cup in Phoenix. Fun tournament, but they brought like their fourth and fifth stringers out, and we made it all the way up to this tournament to the bracket, and we're tired. It's been all day. It's hot, but drinking beer, but we were like feeling good. It's like, dude, we're like crushing it.
Yeah.
This team out of California, great team, like they say, their fourth and fifth stringers come out. I was like, we got this.
No,
it was these guys were probably like the bottom of the barrel, lineup, and they rolled over us.
In California, they're the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
shit!
And they just rolled over us. I was like, you know what? I wasn't even upset about it.
Yeah.
It was like I was like
an honor to be.
Yeah. It's like they kicked our ass.
Killed by your army.
Yeah. That was kind of cool. Thank you, sir. Can I have another?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd actually gone to, I'm not sure if it was Chili's or Horny Toad games, but a buddy of mine, you might have played with them. I had two friends on there. There was Emilio Perez and
Emilio.
That's my boy. I've known him since high school.
Really?
Yeah, I went to high school with Emilio.
So there was 3 Hispanic guys on a rugby team. Called ourselves the X Factor.
Was one of them Hector?
No, Hector played for a short while, but the 3 guys that played the long, like Hispanic guys that were kind of like there for a good while. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess there was more of us than that, but there was kind of 3 of us that hung out. Was a guy named Peter, Emilio, and myself. We took a rugby trip down to Alpine, Texas, and I was in my truck and. We hadn't even gotten to Van Horn yet. We got past the Border Patrol checkpoint. And we were headed out that way. Had my first blowout.
Oh, shit. Right after Sierra Blanca?
Yeah. Like I said, we hadn't gotten to like where you turn down to go down to Marfa and all that.
Okay, yeah.
And me and Emilio was asleep in the back of my truck. And he goes, they're all like, NASCAR, let's go. We're like, we were making the sound effects on the side of the road. And get spared. And so that blowout, it wasn't really a blowout. It was a tread separation.
Oh. That
was during that phase of time when the tire companies were having like tread separation. One of my tires. So I threw the spare on, and we get to Van Horn, then we drive down to go like to Valentine. Was it Valentine Marfa then Alpine or Marfa? No, it was Valentine Marfa then Valentine, right? Mm-hmm. And
I'm not sure, but yeah, it sounds right.
It's like it's either Marfa first, then Valentine, or the other way around, one or the other.
Yeah.
And so we're going down this Texas State Highway, not a car in sight, and then the other tire.
Oh shit!
Same thing, tread separation. So we pull over, and I'm like, dang, dude. And we were barely going to make it to start there on time. We were like, either I had to work or Peter had to, it was like kind of a thing for us.
Yeah.
We were working. So the other tire, the tread comes right off. There was nothing but wires. I'm like, damn.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I was like, what are we going to do? It's like, well, it's holding air.
Yeah.
Still got one spare tire. The spare tire is on the side that turns. Okay, that's cool. We'll take it easy. We'll ride the wires. And we start driving. Spare tire goes out.
No way.
And that one goes flat.
What the?
Yeah. And so we had the initial tire that the tread separated from. So we put that one back on, and we drove the tires just on. It was like on the wires.
Oh, wow!
All like 45 minutes to an hour because we only went like 25 miles per hour. I want to say it was Valentine we rolled into, and so we get there, and it's like they start pushing the game back because, here in New Mexico State University rugby, we never had enough guys to play. Right. Especially when you were traveling. So they're like, well, our 3 guys aren't here. We can't even start playing, blah, 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 you know. So the coach gets the game delayed, and they're like, well, we're on our way, coach. And we pull it. I want to say it was Valentine we pulled into. And there's like your classic skinny old Texas man.
Yeah.
Cowboy hat, thin as a rail, dressed, you know, in the plaid and everything. And, you know, I pull up next to him. Pardon me, sir. It's like, where can a guy get a flat change? He goes, up there yonder, if they're still open, it's Saturday. It's like, damn. And, okay, no, I remember now. So he tells me that it was closed in Valentine, so we had to go to Marfa.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
So, yeah, Valentine.
We had to go to Marfa. And so we pull in, and as we're driving into town, we see a tire shop called like Manuel's or something. Like Manuelitos or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, there he is. And we pull in, and we get out, and we're like, I was like, hey, I'm sorry, man. I really need to buy some used tires, man. I mean, because we couldn't afford new tires.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, and he's like, the guy in the garage is like, he's like, well, what? He's like, well, we're already closed. I was like, man, I'm on wires. My spare tire went flat on us. I was like, I'm in a really bad spot. We'll even pay you more. And like, we're all trying. We didn't have money to pay him more. Here we are, like pulling out 5 here and 10 here. We're trying to put it together.
Doing the college thing.
And then the owner comes out. What in the hell's going on? Like old Mexican man. God damn it! He was like already grumpy because it's already noon. And I was like, man, I've lost tread on 2 tires. I've got the 3rd one out. I really need some used tires. He's like, God damn it. He's like, get the jacks. You take off your own damn tires. You put your own damn tires. I was like, done. So there goes me, Peter, Emilio. We're all NASCAR style. And we're rolling him into the garage, and he comes out with 3. He's like, these are okay. And so he starts doing the tires and putting them up, doing them one at a time. And me, Peter, and Amelia standing there. And I'll never forget this. And I was like, I should ask him to balance tires.
Oh, no.
Like straw that broke the camel's back. Like the straw. I'm like, excuse me, can I get that balanced also? He gets, whenever he had his head tire, he throws it across the garage. God damn it, this is Saturday. It's already past. And he was just like, and I was like, no, that's cool. No, no, we're good. Thank you. Like, got the tires, and we paid him like maybe $20 a piece for the tire because they were like used, but it was something.
Yeah. So
we paid him $20, and we get to Alpine, Texas, to the rugby game, and we get there at halftime, and the Chili's are down.
Oh, no.
The Chili's are down. I want to say we were still in Chili's at that point. I have to look at the pictures. We borrowed like 2 of their guys or something, and so we come running out into the field, getting dressed, and come back and win the game.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And that's like my story, like to Peter and Emilio's like, remember that time we showed up at halftime, we were down by so many points and we won the game. We were like man. X Factor. Like that was our totally our thing. And we were so retardedly like into it. Like
fucking amazing.
Yeah. It was like it was a cool trip. And so what's cool about rugby, there's like a lot of okay, so the history of rugby is this, and just kind of briefly, is like they used to play soccer. They used to kick balls around all the time. And then somewhere along the way in England, they're playing a really big game of rugby, and somebody picks up the ball and just plows somebody over.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then they start throwing it sideways, and lo and behold, a new sport develops in England called rugby. And they named the place, they've even named the town Rugby now.
But, wow. Yeah. That's serious.
Yeah, it's serious, right? So there's this whole, there's a whole place in England called Rugby, and so football eventually kind of spins off of rugby.
Soccer?
Football.
Oh, American
football.
Yeah.
Got it. Have you ever seen like a college game? They mainly do this in college where they'll lateral the ball.
You mean
like somebody will be running with the ball and they'll pitch it to somebody else?
Kind of like an audible or
like lateral.
Yeah.
That's classic rugby.
That's rugby.
That's rugby.
Crazy,
right? And most time you think the quarterback gets it, and he'll just lug it forward.
Yeah.
But like if you catch it and you're running and you pitch it to the guy next to you, like they like audible or lateral, That's a rugby deal.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so in rugby, like in the bylaws or wherever you go for rugby, like whoever, doesn't matter who you play, there's always the rule that after the game, you bury the hatchet, you have beer and you eat. You eat together. You drink beer and you eat together. And so we go to Alpine, Texas, and they tell us where to meet them at. And we go to this one place, like this crab shack place, and they fed us crab legs. They had a big old troughs of beer and like hamburgers and I mean just tons of food. We're like, dude, this is freaking amazing. You know, we've never had it this good playing rugby. And they come down to Las Cruces and we have Domino's pizza.
Oh shit. Like, come on, man. Take us to Andales or something. What the fuck?
They're poor, man.
It's college. What are you going to do?
You come to state over here, you're going to get Keystone and Domino's. Here, cheers. I'm sorry, man. Cheers.
At least it wasn't Little Caesars.
I know, right?
That would have been embarrassing. Domino's, all right. At least.
I've loved rugby. I've probably why I blew my hip out.
Oh, so you have a hip problem or a knee issue? Or
Hip, knee, back.
Oh fuck!
But the knee isn't fully torn, so they're like, if it didn't tear all the way, you'll be fine.
Is it your meniscus?
MCL.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, the one that keeps it from going like the side to side motion.
Medial. Yeah.
Yeah, and then my L5 is shifted.
Is that all from rugby?
I don't know.
Like the shift on that and your hip? That's probably from a tackle, man.
Well, I think the hip because I played prop. Do you know anything about rugby?
Not at all. Just, I mean, I've seen one game, and it was the day, unfortunately, Emilio got laid out and concussed. So we had to, like,
oh my God,
get him out of there.
I may have been there if I could.
Yeah, that was over at Walnut. It was like the one time Hector Villa had invited me. I come over.
Or like playing touch rugby?
No, it was a legit, like, there was a tournament that day.
Walnut.
Yeah.
At the field.
Yeah. The soccer field.
I was there.
Crazy, man.
We were trying to do like tournaments and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, those were some good times. I think, especially if you're going to school, being involved. Rugby team's a great team thing to be a part of because they invite everybody to play. You go party with them. They're like, yeah, grab a beer, come on in. You know, they're not jerks.
Yeah.
You know, we always had this one rule in rugby. Anybody could come in, anybody could drink. Don't be a jerk. The only rule was if a rugger went to the line to get a beer, he got to go to the headline. That was the only rule.
Interesting.
That was it. We would all throw down by kegs or whatever, and you know what I mean. And we were like I said, it was cool. The more the merrier. Just as long as when the rugger needed beer, he could go to the headline.
That's a good rule.
I mean, it's a cool rule. Otherwise, you can go hang out, right? Don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
So that's the culture of rugby, and it's like that everywhere. There's a huge tournament in Vegas called International Sevens. Teams from all over the world comes down. They all go drink. They all have their hotel that they like to party at, and it's like a really cool event. You know, like gets rowdy,
sure,
but not like stupid pulled knives or a gun rowdy.
No, yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's more of an MMA thing.
Yeah,
than like rugby. Yeah. It's more like family. Like there's the camaraderie there, no matter if it's an opposing team. Unless there's some douchebag you really don't fucking like, that you have to check them.
And there's a couple of those, I guess. But, wherever we traveled, you always had a place to stay. You always had a place to stay. Even if all they could give you was like blankets and pillows and you had to sleep in the living room because there's so many of us. But we always had a place to stay.
There's always somewhere to sleep, eat,
and
crash the fuck up.
Absolutely. And you just
get wasted.
You just can't beat that. So, but yeah, like there's we have linemen and they play in a thing called a scrum where they all kind of like push against each other. You have the 3 guys and you have like 4 guys behind them, like like this, and then you have another guy in the back, and the 2 guys in the front, they're called the props, and they're the ones that like everybody's pushing on to drive the other team back.
Yeah.
So it's like it's off a penalty and if the other team gets the ball, they get to feed it in, and the middle guy there, he hooks the ball with his leg and pushes it back to his side.
Got it.
So he's called a hooker.
Oh, okay.
Because he hooks it with leg, but of course, hooker.
Sure, yeah.
And so, but I was a prop 10, 15 years.
Oh, crazy.
And so you imagine you're pushing against their 8 guys, and I've got my 7 guys behind me, and you're always you do that every week, and you practice it on the field. So I'm pretty sure my back and like my shoulder mobility and even this hip nonsense I'm going through now.
Damn.
Yeah, I did it to myself.
How old are you now, man?
45.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 40.
You look good for 40.
Likewise.
Wouldn't have known it. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Hey, we age well.
I think we do.
That I'll drink to. Cheers to that. So you're in acting.
Yeah, I've been in acting since I was 8.
Really? Yeah. Like, kind of grew up doing the school play stuff like that, or?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's where I first started. It's kind of funny. Like, I didn't realize that it was a job until one day. It's a Sunday night, day before school, nothing to do. I'm just like watching TV, and I see all these people in tuxes and stuff, and Schwarzenegger's. Like, one of his productions is being nominated, and it was Terminator 2, and I was like, oh, okay, so...
And you were there?
So I was watching it on TV.
Oh, you were watching it on TV?
Shit, I wish I was there.
I know, right?
Someday, hopefully.
That's right.
I mean, just to show up would be amazing.
Hell yeah.
But, yeah, when I realized, oh, there's producers, directors, actors, this is a job that you can do.
Yeah.
I remember that at that moment, I told my mom, like, I want to be an actor. And...
Yeah.
Within a couple days, she put me into the after-school play program at Tombaugh Elementary.
Very cool.
Yeah. And
Tombaugh Elementary.
Yep.
Named after Clyde Tombaugh.
Yep.
His stepdaughter, last name was Willoughby. I don't remember her first name. She was like a special education teacher doing like she would do like reading labs. She'd pull and math labs. She'd pull kids out of elementary, like their classroom, and do like one-on-one reading and one-on-one math with them and all that stuff.
Interesting.
I spent 5 years with her all through elementary.
That's crazy. Where? Yeah. What school was that at?
Alameda Elementary.
Oh, at Alameda.
Yeah, her name was last name was Willoughby, but something like a stepdaughter or something like that. But yeah,
crazy.
Small world, right?
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Interesting enough. So when that school was built, he was still alive, and he'd come visit.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I don't know how she did it. Like, my mom was in college at the time and knew that he was involved. He was a professor at NMSU, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't know how she did it. Like, one Saturday, she's like, get ready. I have a surprise for you. We're going to go somewhere. And, yeah, it was like right after his birthday, I believe. We drive to Mesilla. We get out, and she took me to Clyde Tombaugh's house, and I met him and his wife. We're, like, sitting in his living room.
Are you serious?
Talking to him. Yeah.
Okay, so probably what he's probably most well known for? Pluto. Discovered Pluto in 1930.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about 1930, like telescopes then versus now.
Oh, yeah. Huge advancements.
Oh, man. It was probably like a little speck, but like a little like blurry speck. But
yeah.
Man. Yeah. And, let's see here. He discovered Pluto in 1930, the first object to be discovered in what would later be identified as the Kuiper Belt at the time of the discovery. So the Kuiper Belt is you have the asteroid belt between Earth and Jupiter. No, Venus and Jupiter, because it goes Mercury, Venus,
yep.
Or Mercury, Mars.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars.
Okay. So then it's between Mars and Jupiter, the asteroid belt, and then on the outside of the solar system, like what would be considered the inner solar system, it's the Kuiper Belt. Wow.
Right. So like, I believe the Kuiper Belt is. So I know that it might be between Jupiter and Saturn, I believe, because I think there is some involvement with the rings.
What?
And then there's like, I believe like, it's like a border of like asteroids or space matter.
Okay, here it is. Extending from the orbit of Neptune.
The way out there.
All the way out there. I mean, it's a distance that we can't even fathom, right? Like I couldn't even imagine. But so it starts at about like Neptune going out. All these asteroids, that are rock, they're metal, they're ice, methane, ammonia, water. But it's home to most of the objects that astronomers generally accept as dwarf planets. These ones I don't know. There's Orcus, Haumea, Coar, Make, and Pluto.
Yeah, the exoplanets, I believe.
The exoplanets, yeah. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so he would go out there.
Mm-hmm. He would go to the school, and I mean, when he came to visit us, of course, there's like 300 kids. Like, oh, cool, that's the guy who discovered. I mean, he's the guy on the wall, this and that. And then my mom just somehow finagled her way to like.
That's cool.
Get me in his living room, and it's just me, him, my mom, and his wife.
Now, were you you're in elementary school? I take it.
Yeah, I was like in second grade.
So, in elementary school, that probably would be like over my head big time.
Kind of.
I think by the time I was in college, or even like where I am now, if I met like Clyde Tombaugh right now,
yeah.
Oh, I'd be like, dude, like show me your stuff. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like this year, I bought a 6-inch Dobsonian telescope. It's like the big tube telescopes that has like a base that's pretty easy to set up. And I'd be like, dude, you want to look at my telescope? I would totally, to meet a guy like that now where I'm at now, I would just be like, dude, come on over. Look what I got.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's cool. That's crazy cool.
She's a great lady. Like,
and your mom set that up.
My mom set that up, like being
a good mom, right?
She must have like gone to his office and be like, "Hey, my son goes to the elementary school. Is there a time that he can meet you? Could we meet somewhere?" And he was probably like, "Oh, just come to my house."
So cool. So cool.
He had a telescope there that he had built himself. It was just sitting in his front yard, and like the I guess, like, I don't know, it's not the viewfinder, but where you look through, he had that covered with a Coca-Cola can. Like, it was like, I think it was one of the originals that he had built.
That is cool.
Another fact that a lot of people don't know about Clyde Tombaugh is he was in Roswell the night of the UFO crash.
Really?
There's stories about him. I believe he, his wife, and 2 other people were in a car. It might have been a convertible, and they were there during like all the hubbub of like the army trying to direct people and like, oh, you have to get out of here. And apparently I don't know if they saw something in the sky, but they were definitely involved somehow.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
I hope that's accurate.
I mean, I hope so too, but that's just, I mean,
what are the chances of that?
What are the chances of that? Like the leading astronomer at the time, if I can spell Roswell. Oh, you know, it looks like there we go. The L's working now. This is the Microsoft Surface. I've had this for like 15 years, like the original ones that came out. This is like as heavy as probably like 3 iPads. Dude,
I had one of those and didn't last very long. So you're quite fortunate. You clearly take care of your stuff.
Oh, this thing's barely holding on tooth and nail. I'm trying to like, without like just sitting here and reading stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that like talk about like what a crazy coincidence that he would have been there, and they probably called him up and say like, hey, you know, what do you think of this?
So is there something related to, like, are you finding anything?
I clicked on one thing. It said it's a UFO sightings, famous Roswell incident, but without like you know, just stopping to read it right now.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But I'm just trying to go down and see if I come across his name. But
did you search Tombaugh with Roswell?
Yeah, I searched Tombaugh with Roswell. This is actually the number one article that came up. But man, that's cool. That's cool to think like. Oh, there it is. Basically this is an article. It came out in 1999. UFO sightings followed famous Roswell incident. And let's see, he and his colleagues were running tests with balloons near Ardy, New Mexico. That's regarding engineer Charles Moore, when they spotted an ellipsoid object shooting across the sky. That same year, the late Clyde Tombaugh, the astronomer who discovered Pluto, observed 6 to 8 window-like rectangles of light move across the sky while sky watching from the yard of his Las Cruces home.
Oh, so he was in Cruces.
Well, this is saying 1949. What year did Roswell happen? 1947.
I want to say somewhere out there.
Yeah,
it was after the war for sure. Because it
says July 8th, 1947. The stunning headline: RAAF captures flying saucer. So it says 2 years later, Clyde Tombaugh was watching these things from Las Cruces.
So how interesting is it that was 2 years after we had dropped 3 major bombs?
Oh yeah,
1 here and then 2 in Japan.
Oh, absolutely. Well, okay. So there's 2 major incidents that happened in New Mexico after Roswell. one in the Four Corner area, and I want to say near Aztec. So so this is going down the rabbit hole. Like it just depends on, is that your phone or my phone?
I think that was yours.
Okay.
I think mine's off.
Let me make sure my volume's off. Okay, so
you know what? No, that was me.
it was making this noise like if I was transcripting. I'm like, am I transcripting this?
That's weird. I don't know why I did that.
So you go down the rabbit hole, and Lord knows there's like UFO, New Mexico, huge rabbit hole.
Right.
So not long after Roswell, assuming that a UFO did crash, assuming that possibly there might have been an alien captured. I had read into this whole thing. I haven't researched this in a long time, but that there was an alien show of force somewhere in Aztec, New Mexico.
Whoa.
Like a lot of UFOs came down regarding the fact that we had like an alien or something. And I'm just trying to go off what I remember. It's been like 10, 15 years now. But or maybe we had shot down a second UFO or something. Like the one in Roswell happened, and then we shot one down. And so then there was this massive show of force of alien UFOs over like Aztec, New Mexico, that area. And if I remember correctly, there's actually even a plaque out there somewhere you can go find to mark that actually happened. Somebody even made like a plaque. And but it had to do with the fact that we may have even captured a live extraterrestrial, which is why these other ones, there was like this show of force, like give us back our alien,
right? Or
we're gonna destroy you, vaporize you, whatever they're gonna do to us.
Yeah.
That, and then so you have what's that movie called? The Fifth Kind. The fifth, it's a movie called The Fifth Kind, isn't it?
So I'm not sure. Is it the one with people's dreams?
No, Kubiak, 2001. Or
Kubrick.
Kubrick.
Yeah.
Kubrick. I thought he made a movie called The Fifth Kind.
I know that there was one that came out with was it the girl from Resident Evil, where they did like side by side, they did reenactments and then
okay, we will.
I think that's The Fourth Kind.
Okay,
never saw it. I heard it's scary.
We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that one in a minute. So there's a movie called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and the fifth kind is like actually contact. So you have UFO like interaction is broken down into like the first kind, which is where you see something. The second or third is where you actually have like start having like physical evidence.
Right.
So in Socorro, New Mexico, the people saw something land out there, and the local state police, I believe it was, and I can't remember his name. He went out there, and he said he actually saw it. And like I'm trying to paraphrase it. If I butcher it, nobody leaves me comments out like you're an idiot, dude. I'm just trying to paraphrase it. We're having drinks at 9 p.m.
On a Sunday.
And I always have to say this, but drink responsibly. If you're going to have a drink with us and enjoy the conversation.
Amen.
Amen, right? But
mind if I steal one, actually?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's coffee's gone. I'm like, all right, now the nightcap.
And if you want tequila, there's this Corralejo.
Corralejo is amazing.
I love this.
That's one of the top 3 tequilas I've ever had in my life.
This was Reposado. You know, I like Reposado tequila.
It's nice.
It's nice. I actually have one. I should have brought it out, called Convivencia from Tequila. They don't sell it anywhere. It only goes to the high-end boutiques and hotels.
Huh.
I'm trying to get Fabulosa to go out there with me again to go buy some more. It's delicious. If you ever have a chance to go to Mexico, go to Guadalajara and take the tequila tour. You go to Tequila, Mexico.
It's the birthplace, man.
It's well worth it. Yeah, sure. Why not? It's get a little bit more. There we go.
See, metal.
And it's a very well worth it trip to go to Tequila, Mexico.
Oh, it's called Tequila?
It's actually the town of tequila.
Oh, shit.
Like,
I gotta go.
The majority of tequila, like to be called tequila, it has to come from there. If it's not from Tequila, Mexico, then it's mezcal.
It's like bourbon.
No, it's called mezcal.
Oh, if it's outside of tequila, it's mezcal.
It's considered mezcal.
So it's like bourbon in the county of Bourbon,
right?
Whiskey outside of it.
Like champagne has to come from Champagne, France.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like tequila has to come from Tequila, Mexico.
Crazy.
And you drive through the valley, and there's just agave growing everywhere.
So is this mezcal technically?
Well, I don't know. It depends what it says. Hecho Mexico. Let's see.
I don't think that's how.
Por tequila. Tequilera, Corralejo, Guanajuato.
Oh, Guanajuato?
Guanajuato.
Yeah, so it's mezcal.
So it would be considered mezcal, but I mean, 100% agave. I mean, I guess maybe over there they just don't have the same kind of enforcement.
Right.
But there's actually a place called Tequila, and do you know the agave plants? They never water them.
So it's like a cactus, kind of, right?
Yeah, they don't water them. They say the amount of rainwater that the valley gets is just the amount of water that the plants need.
Crazy.
And it's a whole valley full. Then you drive by Salsa, you drive by all these. I went to Jose Cuervo and I went to Convivencia.
Which one do you like better?
Oh, Convivencia.
Yeah.
It's like the most amazing tequila. It is like hands down the most amazing tequila I have. I have a closet full of like more tequila than I know what to do with.
Beautiful.
But Convivencia, the experience, the way they do it, it's like still like a family thing and all that good stuff. It's beautiful. And then you pay, you can have the meal. So they have the meal. They had mariachis, people there. And the people that go on the tour, they just start dancing. Everybody knows the mariachi music. They all start singing. And they start giving you samples.
Órale.
And so the girl I went with, she didn't want to drink any tequila, so I started drinking her sample, mine. And they give you all of them. They give you like, the silver. They give you the reposado. They give you the reposado. What's the other one?
So there's the silver, the gold.
No, it's actually like silver, reposado, and what is the other tequila? Oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember this.
There's añejo.
Eso. That's the older one. And dude, I was getting blitzed. Now going to Jose Cuervo was interesting. Beautiful hacienda. They have all the trucks there that they've ever had on the ranch. Mm-hmm. They have the whole history. You actually can watch them as they're steaming the plant up, and they're shredding it, and they're going through everything. It's beautiful, beautiful. I've never been a fan of Jose Cuervo. Same. Jose Cuervo and Hornitos. Never been a fan.
To me, it's the Jack Daniels of tequila.
Right. So I know people that have gone to Dublin, and they say when you go to the Guinness factory, they say Guinness is never better than when you get it from the tap at the Guinness factory.
Done it.
Have you done it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
it was beautiful, man. It was like water. It was so.
That's probably like my only other dream place I would want to go to. It would be for Guinness from the Guinness factory. Because I love Guinness.
Yeah.
I don't drink it as much because it's too heavy. And back in the rugby days when I drank a lot, I was like 80 pounds heavier.
I believe it.
Yeah.
They don't call it stout for nothing.
Oh, that's right? But Jose Cuervo, like right there from the factory, it doesn't taste any better.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be worse because it hasn't had the time to age and whatnot. But
yeah, no, it's not any better.
Here's to the Mexicans doing it better.
There we go, man. Cheers. Salud. And I love scotch. But nice. Yeah, if you ever have a chance to go down to Guadalajara, it's beautiful.
Man, that kind of makes me sad because apparently it's popping off right now. The Sinaloenses are coming in and they're trying to take over. Yeah,
there's because the new generation gang, as they've been moving up south, they've been working their way up through Guadalajara. Guadalajara has a lot of really rich areas.
Yeah,
and it's just one of the big areas. I was listening to it's called Otherworld podcast. Let me just drop it out and give them a shout out here. But let me pull it up, and they were talking about the oops. Well, I was listening there too. Let me see if I can find out my search. Oh, my phone's not charging. That's too bad. Let me just see if I can pull up the search on this. But they were talking about the sicarios. Oh. Underworld podcast. They had a podcast on the Zetas, and I've since I spent the last year traveling so much, I've just been really learning more and more about that, and it's still there.
Yeah,
it hasn't gone away. Now the hardcore violence has the heads, the hanging bodies from the bridges and all that.
Yeah,
that may have kind of gone down. The women disappearing and being raped is not being done to the extreme that it was being done for a while there.
Yeah,
but it's still there.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
unfortunately.
And the Zetas, They were initially kind of like in a. I don't know if they were in agreement or if they were a part of the Gulf Cartel, but eventually, like how they kind of went on their own, and because they were all special forces, they all had training in the United States, so they were like the Mexican special forces.
Yeah.
They just decided to go on their own, and they were ruthless.
Really?
They were ruthless. So and they all go by Z1, Z2, Z3, like the last guy, I don't know if it was like Z38 or Z40 that was like in charge of the Zetas. And they would go recruit other people, other special forces, other military people, and train them up. And they would do like a whole recruiting campaign. Like, you tired of taking the bus to work? Tired of walking to work?
Yeah.
We have sign-on bonuses. We'll give you a vehicle.
Damn.
We'll give you insurance.
How do you turn that down, man?
Well, I mean, especially when you're down there.
Yeah.
I mean, learned so much about. Okay, hold on. We're jumping topics
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So real fast, we were talking about UFO. So the first major, like, what did I say? The fourth kind.
So you said there was two happenings. There was the Four Corners.
In which we said it was because of like this UFO invasion, because we may have had a live UFO.
Yeah.
But then there was an encounter of the second or third kind where there's actually evidence, and what the evidence was the UFO landed, and you could actually see the in the ground, like if there were like legs that the UFO had.
Yeah.
You could actually see those imprinted on the ground.
Holy shit.
And this was a state trooper.
Yeah, he's not gonna lie.
No, I mean, he's as first of all, state troopers are like they're in the middle of nowhere. They
Right.
see everything. So, I had this job that I would travel across the whole state. I would travel back and forth from Albuquerque to Las Cruces 1 a.m.
Oh damn.
And you do that enough times,
You're gonna see something.
you see things you can't explain. You see lights. And I talk to my friends about this. You see lights, you see like little specks of lights. You're like, okay, it could be like a satellite moving across the sky, a little speck of light.
Yeah.
You learn to recognize certain lights, like, okay, that could be a helicopter.
Right.
That could be an airplane.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be there. It's always, I've seen, okay, driving to Albuquerque, there's a bombing range on the West Mesa. And I've seen a line of C-130s just coming down hard, and then they just turn back up, and you just see like a plume of smoke, like if afterburners come on, and these things just take off.
What?
Like if they're just practicing, like just like these
Dive bombing, yeah.
something like that. But the big C-130s,
Yeah.
and I've seen ospreys out there, like touch and goes, like tons. That's cool. Seeing the ospreys, just these big old, like they're flying through the valley down there. Like you see a lot of cool stuff, and then you see things that you just kind of don't make sense.
Right. You're like, that's not a helicopter. That's not an airliner.
Right. And you try to rationalize it in your mind. I know I do.
Yeah.
And I like when Jeanette's here. One thing I told Jeanette is like, the older I get, is I realize I'm not as smart as I like to think I am. You realize more and more what you don't know. And like, yeah, you could try to rationalize lights, but do we really know? Like, even if you're like, say, like that's not an airplane, or that's not a helicopter. I don't know what technology we have.
Yeah.
I don't know what we could do now.
Yeah.
And I wonder if a lot of people that see lights out there, they instantly jump to conclusions. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that is probably made here on Earth. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff. New Mexico is a lot of military,
Yeah.
a lot of special projects, black projects, and all that stuff. Lots.
Bob Lazar shit.
Bob Lazar shit.
Yeah.
I mean, Bob Lazar, New Mexico.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
He's
I mean,
like-
Los Alamos, the atomic bomb. Like, New Mexico is a big state, and it's a big open state. So if the military wants to do something like Nevada,
Yeah.
New Mexico's another ideal place.
Absolutely.
Fair enough. So state trooper, could he have seen a UFO land, especially if there was like actual like evidence on the ground? I think it's very plausible. I think it's very possible. Absolutely. And this thing in Aztec happened a long time ago. Could that have happened? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if people saw it, they say they saw it. But I also realize human memory is not good. cognitive bias is not good because we all have this bias and it's like hard to get past that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's that. UFOs, New Mexico go hand in hand. That's interesting to read that Clyde Tombaugh had an experience from here that he saw stuff in the sky. That's interesting.
Right.
Man, that's cool. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Man. So anyways, so we were talking about Mexico before we jumped. We were kind of jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
Mexico's beautiful. Beautiful people.
Definitely.
Yeah. Beautiful culture. I'll never knock it. I mean, politics, drug cartels.
Yeah, definitely corrupt as hell.
Corrupt as hell. I fully believe Mexico is controlled by an oligarchy. Even though Mexico's a republic,
Yeah.
I fully believe it's an oligarchy. You know, if you want to do business in Mexico, you have to line the pockets of the people in power. And then the oligarchs kind of pick the next presidents. Like,
Not much different than here. I think we have some choice here.
I think we have some choice, but I think over there, if there's a popular nominee that's rising the ranks, and if he doesn't have the blessings, he gets assassinated. Like, very blatantly gets assassinated. How many times that happened in Mexico? It's like all the time.
I can't think of the last one because, Olmo got in, Vicente Fox got elected in, and then before that it was the Panistas for or the Priistas for over 100 years.
Yeah. The PRI literally handpicked the next president.
Yeah.
So the revolution was in 1912.
Yep.
So literally for about 100, maybe about 9 years, the PRI was handpicking the successor until
Vicente.
Mm-hmm. But Vicente was so well connected business-wise. You know what I mean?
Spoken, very charismatic. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked him better than the guy now, honestly.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because assassinations. I kind of want to just see what this comes up. If I just do a very general search of Mexico assassinations, see what the number one Google comes up is. List of politicians killed in the Mexican drug war.
That list must be long as hell.
Since the start of the military-led offensive by the Mexican government in 2006, the drug trafficking organization that slaughtered their rivals, killed policemen, and now increasingly target politicians, especially local leaders. The list, let's see, does it go by the old stuff or is there the new stuff? Let's see. So the list starts in 2005. Teodono Herrera Sosa, I don't know who he is, in Tamaulipas. Former municipal president. And then another municipal president the following year. Another municipal president in Tamaulipas in 2007. Another municipal president in 2008 in Michoacan. Another municipal president in Michoacan in 2008. Durango, same thing in 2008. Jalisco, the same thing in 2008. And I guess municipal president is probably like a governor, maybe. I don't know. But 2008, 2008, one in Guerrero, and then the state of Mexico, because there's the state of Mexico, then you have the city of Mexico.
Yeah.
2009, municipal presidents, Durango, Guerrero, Michoacan, Guerrero, Michoacan, Guerrero, Durango,
Sounds like
Michoacan,
fucking Iraq, bro.
Chihuahua, Guerrero, Tabasco, Chihuahua, Michoacan. That's just 2009. That's just in 1 year. All those essentially what I'm guessing would be governors.
Yeah.
Are assassinated. 2010, wow, the list is even bigger for 2010.
So that was right around the time, I don't know if you recall, we were in Iraq till 2011, there was a time that Juarez had beat Baghdad for the most dangerous city in the world.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And so this keeps on going. Even 2011, I'm just scrolling through the list. And then 2012, I just keep scrolling. During the presidency of Enrique Peña Nieto, 2012, and there's only four people assassinated, governors assassinated in 2012. Only four. That's not bad.
It's getting better.
2013, the list just goes, and 2014, there's only one. In 2015, there's like 1, 2, 3, 3. But the fact that there's like, can you imagine the United States, the 3 governors got assassinated in 1 year? Like
It'd be
3.
chaos. People wouldn't know what to do.
People would like people would be in arms. Like, okay, so current day.
There have been attempts, like the one in Arizona.
Right, yeah.
And then the baseball game where Scalia got shot.
Yes, yeah, okay. So this only goes to 2021. 1, 2, 3,
They're still
4,
counting.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 political assassinations in 2021. That's only 2 years ago. That's like about 2 years ago now.
It's like on an uptick, doesn't it seem like?
It kind of goes in waves.
Yeah, everything does.
So, I've been dating this girl, and which I'm telling her I'm doing a video.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, let me just tell her in Spanish.
Muchos saludos.
Muchos saludos.
Desde Nuevo Mexico.
That's a whole other story. But so the current president, Obregón or Obrador,
Yeah. AMLO.
Obrador,
López Obrador.
López Obrador. So he was like I guess he was known as like being like a community activist, kind of like Barack Obama, very community involved, and he was a guy that helped get certain reforms that help people get food.
Huh.
So like I don't think he's much of a president.
No.
In terms of dealing with the cartels, his slogan was hugs instead of bullets.
No mames, güey.
Right, yeah. No mama's way indeed. His slogan was hugs, not bullets, and he was pushing for amnesty for all the cartels.
Okay, yeah, that guy's on the inside. Fuck that. They paid him off.
But the Mexican people love him because he had done so much social work for the people in terms of getting people food, getting them like the little things that you and I take for granted, that we have like a social system that will help us out. He did a lot of stuff like that, like, and essentially kept his promises. So he had the support of the people.
Right. It's like El Chapo kind of building stadiums and feeding people.
Right.
But he was somewhat clean, except for the whole amnesty thing. That's kind of crazy.
That's kind of crazy. But you think about like 20, some 30 odd years of like this cartel wars and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like nuts. And let's, I mean, and hands down, the Mexican strategy has not worked. The Mexico strategy for dealing with the war on drugs is cut the head off the snake.
Yeah.
But then you cut the head off, and then whatever cartel that was the leader who you just eliminated, the cartel would break into factions. Then you'd have more fighting,
More heads.
more heads.
Yep.
And so that has absolutely been an absolute failure.
Absolutely.
But that's what they still do. And some during the Fox, I think it was during the Fox administration, Fox had empowered a lot of the local police municipalities. That's before they had the National Guard, and that's before the Army was really involved. But you had like the state, so you have like the state police, you have the municipal police, and then you have like the federal police, then you have the magistrate police, kind of like we have like constables, marshals, sheriffs, LCPD, like city police, state police,
FBI, CIA.
right?
Yeah.
So he'd empowered, and I don't know which branch it was, but it gave him like a lot of training, gave him a lot of money, and we're going after the cartels directly. And so Fox, I mean, probably from pressure from the Bush administration, you know what I mean? But Obrador, he's kind of hasn't done a hell of a whole lot.
No, I mean, this guy's talking about how he recently saw an elf.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like, what are you talking about, man?
What was that? He had seen an elf. Yeah.
I forget what they call them over there. They have a specific name.
Not the chupacabra.
No, it's not. Not the chupacabra.
But it was like a legendary elf. Let me say, President saw elf Mexico. Okay, Andres Manuel López Obrador did not seem to be joking when he posted the photo of the alux, a mischievous woodland spirit in Maya folklore.
No mames, güey. I'm like, all right, I want whatever that guy's smoking.
If I remember correctly, I think Jimmy Carter said he saw UFOs. But Jimmy Carter doesn't rank high on
No, I mean, he's the peanut guy.
He's the peanut guy,
The
exactly.
peanut guy. I mean, he seems like a sweet guy, and he's building homes and all. And
Right. And even now, when he was, because has he passed away yet?
he and his wife are still alive, I think.
But they were very involved in politics still, even as an old man. It seems like I was always reading about him talking or brokering negotiations or something as an older man. So maybe he was more successful outside the White House than he was at that time during the White
Right.
in the White House.
He did Habitat for Humanity while the Reagans did drug-free America.
Right.
Which was complete bullshit, obviously.
I've told this to Jeanette. I truly believe we are going to see marijuana legalized in our lifetime.
Oh, federally?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so, too.
I think so because more than half of the states now have legalized marijuana.
Dude,
in
if
some
you
form.
look at a map of where it's legal in the North America, like Mexico's legal, Canada's legal,
Yeah.
and then you have states here. So it's
Like it was like something like 28 states out of the 50 were already legal. I don't know if it's gone up now since I've last mentioned it, but I think we're going to see it.
dude, I mean, you have Oregon and Washington legalizing shrooms. Well, wasn't it Oregon where they legalized everything like Portugal did?
I think Oregon may have, and I think the
I think Portland legalized everything except fentanyl. Like you can get
one of the states had legalized a lot of stuff, but so there's a problem with that because like Portugal, they legalized everything,
right,
but they went all in on like rehabilitative services, community programs that help people if they want to get clean.
right.
They went all in, and so they saw a big turnaround in that. And that was like a long time ago now that Portugal did that.
It's been about a decade or so.
It's been about a decade. Yeah. But whereas if we're our states, the states that have gone full legalization, they don't have that rehabilitative kind of get you clean structure if you want to do that.
Right.
We don't have that support system built up yet. So you can't go full legal if you don't have everything else in place to give people the help they need when they're trying to go clean also.
Right. Yeah, methadone, Narcan,
all that good stuff.
Counseling.
Right. So, but in terms of marijuana, I think in our lifetime, we're going to see, I think we're on the road to see it now, which, I watch Joe Rogan a lot.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like how he talks about the history of the corticator, which takes the seeds out of cotton. And so during Prohibition, and he talks about this so well. I mean, he's like so into it. But
Anslinger, all that stuff. Henry J. Anslinger, and then the making of it was Reefer Madness and all that shit.
Yeah, during Prohibition.
Demonizing, yeah,
right. And these guys all had interest in paper.
William Randolph Hearst.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they wanted to see hemp be legal, made illegal, because they were using so much cotton and whatnot for paper.
Yeah.
That it was actually to their benefit to make hemp illegal, so that they would reap the windfall profits, the benefit from that.
And they said, "Oh, this is a black and Mexican drug, the marijuana." Yeah. It wasn't even called marijuana; it was something else.
Something else. It was something. Something about like the how the Mexicans would prey on the white women.
Yeah,
something like that. Like, it was like a whole.
Jose's gonna get your daughter Betty stoned, and then she's gonna get.
She's on that side of the law. And she's going to be up with all the Mexicans and all that stuff.
Before you know, she'll get deported with the rest of them. And it's like, interesting.
Interesting.
And then you got Patty Hearst. You know that story? Mm-mm. So William Randolph Hearst's granddaughter got kidnapped by, I don't know where these guys were. They're definitely Latino.
Uh-huh.
And they kidnap her. She gets a case of Stockholm Syndrome. And she went and robbed a bank with these guys.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
And it's called, is it called the Stockholm Syndrome where you fall in love with your captors?
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that. Now, what was that related to though? Was that related to narcotics or?
No, I think they're just like trying to be like, oh, damn the man, we're going to take your money, this and that. And then, yeah, man, she was in the bank with a machine gun. It's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that, the Stockholm Syndrome. That was like a thing, you know what I mean? And like in the 70s or something like that. But so much happened in the 70s.
Oh, so much. Like
there was like a lot going on. You saw the Vietnam War, drug use. drug use is on the rise, but like studies show, like when you're in stressful environments, you're most likely to do that. But that a lot of the soldiers soldiers in Vietnam that were doing like pot, cocaine, heroin, and all that stuff, once they got home, they just stopped.
Some of them.
Well, some of them, but a lot of them like just stopped when they got back home. But they were doing it to get them through what was going on in Vietnam, because Vietnam was nuts. Like you know, me and Jeanette, we work in the healthcare field.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of these old Vietnam veterans that still deal with the PTSD. You know, I dated this girl. And I think a lot of my stories start that way. Well, I dated this girl. I dated. But her dad, you know, she was a little bit older than I was. But her dad, like my dad, fought in the Korean War.
Oh, shit. No kidding.
And like in his 60s, he was barely dealing with the stuff that he dealt with in the Korean War. Yeah. Like PTSD from way back.
The 50s.
Like the Forgotten War.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, you talk about a crazy war. Like I tell people about the Korean War, you know, my dad would tell me about it. Like just waves of Chinese coming in, not without end. Chinese just running in, and the first couple waves would come running in with guns, and then the other guys would just run like wild animals after them, coming in and just to pick up the guns of the guys that died.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, and my dad was telling me like, you know, he told me so many random things, but he would say you'd be sitting there shooting a machine gun nonstop, and you had to have enough spare barrels to stop and change the barrel, put a new barrel on, because what would happen, you'd shoot the machine gun so much that your barrel would start melting and start drooping because it was just getting so hot because you were just mowing down so many Chinese guys that were just running out there. He told me this one story, like, I don't know where he was at, but he was telling me like, you know, the supplies just came in and there were stacks of K rations, just piles and piles. He was like, oh, we were so excited because we actually had food. And he would always tell me, you'd get the crackers and you'd get the pork and beans. The pork and beans would come in these little cans. And even if you ate them cold, they had like a layer of fat on them. And he said they were just delicious.
And not those bullshit MREs.
No, yeah, not the MREs. These were actually like foods. And you'd open up the can. And he said, then like, you know, all the supplies came in. They had all the K rations. And then he said there was a massive bombing by the Chinese. All the K rations were all gone.
They hit it?
And he says, cans everywhere. You're just trying to find something that survives just so you had something to eat. And he's like,
sons of bitches. You know, one of them saw it and like, hit that pile right there.
He said, they got lucky, those sons of bitches. Yeah.
Like, I tried to find a hot one.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. One that's still cooking. But, yeah, he would always tell me about the crackers, like they call them John Wayne crackers.
Yeah.
And the pork and beans.
Yeah.
He said he just loved the pork and beans. And then back then my dad used to smoke Lucky Strike, which is comparative to smoking Winston's without the filter.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's hardcore, man.
And he was probably smoking those since he was like 14.
That's pretty gnarly. Like
I remember, I was telling this to Jeanette. I was like, I remember going out to the parking lot of my high school and watching like this punk rock chick, tight jeans, like the jean jacket and the black boots that come above the jeans, kind of high, and she was just out there smoking. And I remember when I was like in ninth grade in high school, I was like, oh my God, just thinking like she's so freaking hot.
She looked like a goddess.
Yeah, because she was dressed all punk rock and just smoking that cigarette. I remember just thinking how cool that was. Like,
it's like when Stephen Hyde met that anarchy chick.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, right?
Be my little rock and roll queen.
Okay, going back to that. So you're doing acting. We went on so many tangents.
That's cool. That's how I roll, man.
That's how we do it.
Tangent is my middle name.
So you're doing acting.
Yeah.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with like the film industry in New Mexico? I mean, look, what was that movie? 10,000 BC.
Okay, so Yeah, I think that was the Jack Black, Michael Cera movie, right?
So, and I remember that movie specifically.
Year One?
Or 10,000, maybe no, year one.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
it's what
yeah.
it's called, Year One. And I remember that because if you watch it all the way through the credits, they show the parts where the train runs through while they're filming. So you don't see the train, but you hear while they're acting. You just all of a sudden you hear.
There were bloopers at the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in all the bloopers, you would just hear the horn from the train as the train would go by because the trains go through here all the time,
right.
like clockwork.
Right.
Yeah. It was just it was just hilarious. But I used to work at a Starbucks here in Las Cruces, and they would come order coffees, like lattes and all this, and they would always tell us, "This one's for Harrison Ford."
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
So that was when they were doing the...
Star Wars, wasn't it?
No, it would have been Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Really?
Yeah. They shot that here in Corralitos, if I'm not mistaken.
Corralitos?
So, yeah.
No joke.
So, have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
So, the intro where they're doing the bomb testing and he gets inside the refrigerator?
Yes.
That's here.
Now, you know that's not true. That you would not survive that in real life.
No, that refrigerator would have been blown apart and Indy would have been fucking zombified.
The fact that it threw you hundreds of feet with all that force, you would break every bone in your body. But
it's movies, man.
It's Indiana Jones.
It's
Indiana
movies.
Jones.
Yeah.
So, like, what's going on with the movie industry in New Mexico? Like,
so currently,
all
right. So of course we just ended the writer's strike. We're going through the SAG strike, as I showed you my SAG after card.
That was cool. That was cool. I have to admit, that was like, wow, look at that. Because most people talk about stuff,
Yeah.
but that's it.
Right.
Here you are, like, oh yeah, I'm acting, da-da, and then you pull your SAG card out. It's like,
Okay, this is
respect.
legit.
This is legit. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't had my first SAG gig yet, but I mean, I'm working on it, man, and hopefully this strike will end. But it's not looking good. I don't care. I'm just, to me, the way I picture it is, I go back and think about that little kid who was watching the Oscars,
Right.
and it's fucking crazy to me. Like,
So, what is this SAG strike about?
okay, so it's about, the main two issues are, so producers who are making the most money, even though they don't have a lot of artistic or intellectual value that they're bringing, they're just a suit.
So, what does the producer do with the movie? What's like his involvement? I've honestly have always wondered.
So, a producer and executive producer. So you'll have the exception, like your Will Smiths, your Courtney Coxes, your people who have actually worked.
Did you say Courtney Cox?
Courtney Cox, yeah. Monica Geller.
Monica Geller, that's
Yeah.
right. She's a producer too
She
nowadays.
is a producer. She actually produced the last Scream movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Care for a little more?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll take it for
And
sure.
and we always do this real fast, but Johnny Walker Black.
Johnny Walker.
One day they may sponsor us. I
Oh,
don't
let's
know.
hope so.
Yeah,
Tomorrow. Come on, Johnny Black.
This is a, if you want to just chill, this is a great scotch.
Gracias.
Is that good right there?
Yeah, con eso, gracias.
Okay, so it's about producers.
So it is about producers, the big fat cats who are taking all the biggest chunk of money, and they
take a big chunk of movie money, but don't they put like a lot of money into it?
So there are some who will invest, but a lot of them are backed or they already work with Paramount, Universal, whoever.
Yeah.
Gracias. So a lot of the problem is that they're taking a lot of,
Profits.
A lot of the profits, and another issue is streaming services. So Netflix could take so it's very different than it was 10, 20 years ago, to where if you worked on a movie and it ends up being shown on PBS 10 times over the last month, you're going to get a residual check.
Right, yeah.
That has been reeled back a lot with the streaming. So
Really?
once it goes to like Netflix or something, you're only getting you're getting your fraction of what you're getting paid is significantly smaller.
I've always wondered about that with Netflix, how that affected the movie industry.
It did, and it has majorly. Like, I love Netflix. I'm very appreciative. Like, they definitely create a lot of projects. But yeah, as an actor, looking at directors and writers, yeah, I don't think we're getting our dues, and it seems like as time goes on with streaming and their availability to projects, it's like, oh, okay, we'll make a deal with Universal, and we'll get this bulk of movies, stream them,
Right.
And Netflix won't tell people, oh, this, like, even Rogan's talked about, I did a special and they won't tell me. Like, I asked them repeatedly how many people watch it, and they're like, don't worry, it's doing well.
Right.
So it's like, okay, cool.
Because if you do a special,
yeah.
Okay, that's a good example. If you do a special, let's say it shows on Warner.
Yeah.
And then it shows on Comedy Central.
Right.
And then it shows on Showtime. So you know what channels it's showing on, and they all pay for the rights, and so the residuals come off of that. But if you have a streaming service like Netflix, the Goliath,
yep,
they can all just kind of hold that data.
They skim it, man. So they're like, okay, we're getting all that data, it's coming through, and then we'll pay Rogan this amount, and he doesn't even know what the numbers are looking like.
Right.
So that's another major issue. The third major issue is AI. So
yes, the whole thing with Tom Hanks, right? AI.
So that's a big thing. Like the Tom Hanks thing. I don't know. Have you seen what that podcast Dudesy's been doing with like his image? Like they've been playing around with that.
Really?
They'll ask.
Okay, I didn't see that podcast, but I've like seen other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the problem there is, after Tom Hanks, and it seems like this Bruce Willis situation. Do you know what's going on with him?
No, I don't.
So poor Bruce Willis is going through.
First of all, Bruce Willis, he was like one of those man's man out of the 80s.
Yeah, 80s,
like,
90s.
Yeah, he played that role.
John McClane.
John McClane. Like that was as iconic as Arnold Schwarzenegger in like the Terminator, because both bulky. Like there's like certain guys that did a man's man role.
Stallone. He was different though, because he was just like your regular dad who's like trying to fix things with his wife. Typical story, and then all of a sudden,
we could talk about Stallone with Rocky, because I'm such a Rocky fan. I love Rocky.
Really,
I see Rocky like Rocky 1.
Yeah,
and I see like that love story with Adrian.
Yeah, man.
I think it's just beautiful.
I didn't watch Rocky until about 5 years ago. Believe it or not.
I think Rocky is like so iconic to the times, the hard times that people were going through. You're getting like this random guy gets what do you call that? The guy that gets the shot but he's the
underdog.
The underdog.
Yeah.
And then the girl that he likes, he ends up marrying her, but there's that kind of romantic kind of thing going on with her.
Yeah.
Like I never forget the date and the tone of the music when they're walking back.
I love it because he's not the typical hero, and she's not the typical like.
Yes,
she's not Raquel Welch. She's not Margot Robbie. She's this little nerdy.
It's very iconic of the time, though. Even the way they dressed, it's just so perfect. Okay, I'm sorry. So
no, you're good.
Deviating.
No,
but
this is my jam right here.
But man. So Bruce Willis, like I say, a man's man.
Right.
I think even now when he came out like in Red, man's man, his role. So what's going on with Bruce Willis?
Okay, so unfortunately, this guy, he's been on a cognitive decline. He's actually losing.
I heard that.
A lot of his, he's essentially losing his mind and doesn't realize it. So, like his wife,
very much like Robin Williams,
in a different way. So, like while he's kind of like, it's not Parkinson's, which is kind of crazy. I recently watched a documentary about Michael J. Fox. We'll come back to that.
Yeah. Another great actor. Iconic.
Yeah.
Great.
Back to the Future is one of my top 3 movies. Easy.
Family Ties.
I grew up on that.
Grew up on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Teen Wolf. Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you know he was working on Teen Wolf and Back to the Future and Family Ties at the same time?
Really?
So I have a theory. So he wasn't getting much sleep. And so whenever, Back to the Future was shot with another actor so they had shot maybe a third of the movie, and it wasn't working out. It was the guy from Pulp Fiction, strangely enough, Bruce Willis movie, the guy that, Eric Stoltz. So he was the drug dealer that Travolta goes and buys the heroin from.
Really?
So that guy was originally Marty McFly. They had shot part of the movie, and it was like they were saying the chemistry between him and I'm not sure if it was the Doc Brown character or the mom character, but it wasn't working out. So they ended up firing
that would have
him.
completely changed the movie.
Completely.
Because Michael J. Fox made Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
So
and Doc Brown or
those cut scenes, are actually on YouTube. You can go watch the Eric Stoltz versions of him in the diner and like trying to react to
Really?
George McFly.
It's like, you have my attention now, sir.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So what he gets fired. And the studio, I believe it was a CBS show, Family Ties. They were like,
maybe it was CBS.
The Back to the Future, Universal was like, we want Michael J. Fox, but Family Ties was still in production. So they're like, okay, so you guys want him that much. Here's what we'll do. He comes and he'll shoot the sitcom in the day, and at night a car will drive him to Universal and he'll go shoot the movie. So that's when he would do the Twin Pines mall scenes.
But a lot of it was at night.
It was the Twin Pines scenes, the Libyans.
Justine Bateman, Family Ties.
Oh, she was gorgeous,
dude.
I had a big crush on her.
Who did have a crush on her at that time?
I still kind of do.
I wonder what she looks like now.
I'm like, I'm gonna be a little weird. Like, I have a definitely that the span of women. Like, I like Justine Bateman and the mom. The mom was hot too. I kind of like the mom more. A little weird.
I would be curious to see how Justine aged, because like if you look at like Marissa Tomei,
oh my god,
as she ages, she is just beautiful.
Best Aunt May ever.
Oh my god, she is so stunningly beautiful. More so now than my cousin Vinny. She was a fox back then, but I just think she is just beautiful.
Like fine wine, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like Marissa Tomei, that's a whole nother conversation. I don't ever think this will make TMZ or anything like that, but Marissa Tomei is just, like, when you see her now, she is just
she's
so incredible.
She's a queen. She's the definition of a queen.
Absolutely.
I'm like, Joe Pesci is lucky to have kissed her.
And she seems very graceful, too.
She does. She seems very humble, not too caught up with...
Right.
I mean, she has an Oscar, man.
Right.
For My Cousin Vinny.
I've always pictured this kind of person that you would run into her and she would just be cool about it. Like, don't get that. That's not good. You should get this one. Okay, thank you. I will take you up on that. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, don't get that bagel. Get it with this cream cheese, whatever. Like, thank you.
I would love to meet her, just to meet her.
Just for the sake of meeting her. Absolutely. And I don't keep lists. If I did keep a list, she would be really high on my list.
I keep a list.
Do you really? Yeah. Do you really?
So Dua Lipa is at the top right now. It's like Dua Lipa, Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman, that's another good call.
Gal Gadot. Those Israeli Gal girls, Gadot. Man. Those Israelis are just...
You know what? Jewish women, Israeli girls. Oh, God bless them. Like, if I didn't have a thing for Colombian women, Israeli girls, like, I had a thing for them for a while.
Sure.
I don't, and I don't know who wouldn't. They're just...
I was engaged to one.
Were you really?
Yeah.
No, in high school, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Israeli women, they're beautiful. Beautiful.
I mean, of course, it's like Univision. They're either bad as hell or...
It's like Univision. It's like the weather woman comes out with these amazing curves. It's like, how is she a weather woman? Is she really a meteorologist? What's going on here?
She's all giving you the pronósticos perfect. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, she knows her shit. But back to Michael J. Fox. So this guy was doing Family Ties in the day, go shoot Back to the Future at night, barely get any sleep, and then do it all over the next day. So this documentary talked about how he was working so hard, and one night he goes out and parties with Woody Harrelson, gets fucked up, wakes up the next day hungover, and he starts getting the shakes. And he's like, what is that? So I think it's a combination of genetics. He also talked about whenever he was growing up in Canada, he was always a small kid. So his dad wanted him to, like, have a life, get out there. So he would buy him a car so that he'd be like one of the semi-popular kids at school, got him into theater. But this kid would go out, have fun in Canada, and then crash the car. He crashed something like 12, 13 cars. What? So I think that alone caused some CTE, because even Dale Earnhardt Jr. has CTE just from wrecking on the wall.
Oh, absolutely. So your brain literally hits your skull, causes damage. I mean, the swelling that happens, it causes damage.
Muhammad Ali,
prime example.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if the Michael J. Fox Foundation has looked into CTE. I'm sure they have.
I'm sure, yeah.
So my personal theory, based on just what I saw in that documentary, was he had CTE from wrecks. In his 20s, he's overworking himself, not getting sleep, getting fucked up. And yeah, he said it was the night after getting wasted with Woody Harrelson. He wakes up and like he's like shaking.
Really?
Like,
You know what's curious about Michael J. Fox? And it's funny that you bring that up, like the partying and all that. Like Michael J. Fox, like there's actors, Johnny Depp,
yeah.
or Iron Man,
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Right? You hear about their party life.
Yeah.
You hear about all the crazy nonsense. You
Right.
hear about some actors. You hear about all the drugs and everything. I don't ever remember hearing that about Michael J. Fox. I mean, I could be wrong because I was young.
Right.
I don't remember that though.
He was very good. I don't know if it was his PR team or they were like really good about hiding that. But he, in this documentary that I saw,
He was getting mad tail.
He was it seemed like he was definitely romantic and dating girls seriously, but he was definitely partying and getting like
Gay
wasted.
mad tail.
I mean, why couldn't why not?
He
You know?
was like in the 80s. He was the guy.
He was the man.
He was the man.
Like back then, it was Swayze. It was Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
It was
It's Sting, Michael Jackson,
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Talk about partying. Winning.
You know, I talk about my party days, my friends, and I talk about some of the stupid stuff I've done, which I'll never say on the mic. But I can tell you for certain I have nothing on Charles. You know,
No, nobody does.
Yeah.
That guy should be dead.
yeah. And you know what? I've done some stuff.
Same.
I've done some stuff, and I've been in some places.
Same.
I can honestly say I've been. I can honestly say I've been to some whorehouses
We've gone to the depths. I've never been to whorehouses, but I've been
in
to
about 5 different countries. Salud. But in terms of Charlie Sheen,
No, that guy.
Nothing on that guy.
No, that guy had the
Yeah.
whorehouses coming to his hotel room.
They
You
were
kidding me?
coming to
They're
him.
coming to him.
Wow.
It was like Jack Nicholson, The Departed. Like, have some coke.
What was that Johnny Depp movie where that chick, she's just walking around with a bowl of yayo?
Blow.
Yeah. I'm sure that's Charlie Sheen's life.
It was Penelope Cruz yelling at the cops. He has
Dude,
a kilo in the fucking trunk.
how sexy was Penelope Cruz in that
Still,
movie? Oh,
still,
my
man.
God.
She's gorgeous.
Oh, that's another one.
I don't know. I kind of got turned off when she's doing the rails and stuff. I'm like, let's fucking party, you motherfuckers. I'm like, all right, cool. But
I have a secret crush on Shakira.
who doesn't?
Who doesn't? You know what, though? Okay, so I've been to Venezuela and Colombia.
Oh, man. So I noticed the
So-
2 dots right there.
And I was looking at my map there, and I could put a couple of more pegs in that.
Do it.
But I need to get to it because I was looking at it closely. I was like, I'm missing some pegs.
I'm like, you got to put one of those green ones on the whorehouse.
I got this for my birthday. And the person that gave this to me, the quote on the bottom says, "You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough."
Where'd you get this from?
It was a birthday gift. My friend had it made in Torreon, Mexico.
Beautiful.
And it was shipped all the way over here. And I was telling my friend as I was putting needles into it, he's like, I didn't realize you've gone to that many places in Mexico. And what's that, Colombia? And I was like, we're not going to talk about it.
What happens in Colombia stays in Colombia.
You know what, though? Like,
We'll have to do like an uncensored podcast.
yeah.
Episode 26.5.
Yeah, I just I have a special place for Colombia and Venezuela, and like Colombia and Venezuelans are they're like this.
Really?
You know, they're like this.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
The common history going all the way to Bolivar, the Spaniards and all that, and you meet a lot of Venezuelan women in Colombia, and oh my God, good Lord. I can't. And you know what's funny is like Colombia and Venezuela, which they're actually really big countries. I know like this style map is not true to the sizes of countries, but they're very different. I mean, they're very big countries, but the within the countries, like people like you have people from the mountains, you have the people from the plains, you have the people from the coast, and they're so different.
Yeah.
Like so dramatically different.
Like tribes.
Yeah, exactly. And even the music's different. And I remember I was dating this girl in Venezuela, and she called me from like a flea market, and she was telling me that. I was like, "Oh, what's that music? That's so cool." And she says, "Oh, it's from the." She goes, "Oh, I don't like it very much. It's like from the plains." And I was like, "Oh, that's so weird." She goes, "Yeah, those plains people are weird." Yeah,
That tribalism runs deep, man.
it does, and it's like I have a place in my heart for like that northern South America, like that's a whole other conversation. Like Mexican women, South American women, like it's a whole.
We could come back to that.
Oh well, we can come back to that. Maybe that's a whole episode itself. But
The furthest south I've traveled is Costa Rica, and the women there.
That's what I want to go to next.
It was like Univision, bro. I swear, like it
Oh, I believe it.
20% were gorditas, and the other 80, I swear, looked like
Bombshells.
Victoria's Secret models. I would walk. I'd be on my way to school, and you'd see this girl and be like, "Oh, I'm moving here."
So Costa Rica has been on my radar for a long time because the surfing is supposed to be good there, and I love to surf.
Yeah, they say Jaco, Costa Rica is supposed to be badass.
Badass. So I've always wanted to go surf Costa Rica.
Yeah.
But I've heard the stories about the women. Oh,
Have you surfed before?
yeah.
Oh, no shit. I've
So
never done that.
I'm originally from San Diego.
No shit.
Yeah, so we moved here in the 80s, a little old, New Mexican town. When we moved out here, we were the oddballs. And so I was a little kid. My older siblings had a hard time because they were like already in high school and all that.
Immersion's a bitch, man.
Especially going back like to the 80s. Like if you move state by state now, even now, it's like not a big deal.
No.
But back then in our times, no social media, no nothing. You came with your style. You were like the oddball. And I recall my brother telling me, he goes, tell me how hard it was. So no surfing, nothing, but we were all skater kids.
Sick.
And how hard of a time they had because they were skater kids. They weren't accepted. Like,
that went both ways from what I understand.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
My
Yeah.
mom, being from Chihuahua,
Oh, yeah,
moved
absolutely.
to LA, and because she spoke Spanish, the Cali kids would fuck with her and be like,
Oh, yeah.
"Why are you speaking Mexican?"
So in the 80s, my image of the 80s, I remember, and I was a little kid, Beach Boys, ranches. My dad had a ranch. Gidget. Remember Gidget? Mm-hmm. Gidget. That was my image of California. So as I become an adult and I go back to the old neighborhood, it's totally Mexican now. It's complete. The California now, where I grew up at, is completely different than the way that I remembered it.
yeah,
Like completely. And so coming to a little town like this where we were the oddballs, and even my friends say like, "Where are you from?" Like, "Oh, dude, that's freaking cool." Like, who does this here in this state?
right.
Yeah, like Gidget, a little 14-year-old surfer girl that guys make out with on the beach.
Gidget was a baddie.
She was a baddie. God, I'm trying.
I see your face.
I can see her face, but I can't think of her name. Good Lord, I can see her in a couple of movies. Mm-hmm. Not Jane Fonda.
Ordinary People.
I gotta type in Gidget. Sally Fields.
Yes, good job.
In her, thank you. As Gidget, she was a fox, but she was 14 years old.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? And that was completely acceptable. But that's how I remember California in my time, in like the early 80s.
Beach Boys were. They're still.
I still listen
I
to
still
them.
listen to them. Yeah.
I still listen to them
I
all
wish
the
they
time.
could all be California girls.
Oh, God bless it. The Beach Boys. I mean, the Beach Boys era is all gone. I guess it's classic rock now or whatever. But Beach Boys was a shit back in our days,
Bro, System of a Down is classic rock now.
System of the Down is classic rock.
That's what if it's 20 years or older, it's classic rock.
So essentially, like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
classic rock.
November Rain.
Oh,
Axel.
Guns N' Roses. is
Guns N'
definitely
Roses.
Classic
Dude,
rock now.
Like who does not remember Guns N' Roses was when Axel or Axel, he's playing the guitar solo.
Oh, Slash.
Slash. Oh, there we go. Slash. Dude, like That was like that's like so iconic.
It's my childhood.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Right,
Dude, I remember when they did a show here in the 90s and like all the older people were like, oh, Guns N' Roses, Guns N' Roses. And as a kid, I'm like, oh, this seems sketchy.
So I remember turning on the radio here. So, we live in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Little town. Second largest town in New Mexico, but it's a small town.
Yeah.
And the Beach Boys were playing in El Paso, and they were like broadcasting live from El Paso.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it like a KLAQ thing? Or
Yeah, it was kind of like a KLAQ thing. I don't know if it was them. I want to say it was, but
maybe the Fox 92.3.
no.
No, it was probably.
I don't know if they were there in the 80s, but I remember like the Beach Boys playing in El Paso and thinking like, oh my God, that's so cool. You know what I mean? Like,
and most of those guys are still alive. Like, they definitely didn't party hard, it seems like.
well, Brian Wilson's story is interesting. I don't know if the movie about him is like 100% accurate, but like his story is really interesting, and like just how he knew music and how he got these mental issues. Not epilepsy, but he had like a kind of like a schizo kind of affective kind of deal going on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then maybe he was on the spectrum.
Maybe he was on the spectrum and that whole nonsense, but
It's kind of crazy. Like, I think it was his brother who got involved with Charles Manson, right?
was it his brother? Okay, so I got to tell you something. I was dating a girl, and we went to Topanga Canyon. Topanga Canyon is where Charles Manson used to hang out.
The ranch, right? Was out there.
It wasn't. I don't think the ranch was in Topanga. Topanga Canyon, but it was like one of his places he liked to go. And so we went to like a glamping. You know glamping?
No, what is that?
Girl, like, okay, so you see all these Instagram girls? They're
Yeah.
all like Instagram pics and all that. They're all into glamping. So it's like a combination of, I guess glamping is short for glamorous camping. You have like
glamping. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, glamping.
Got you,
Okay.
got you. Like luxurious camping.
Yes.
No
So-
tents, RVs.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even RVs. It's like a kind of like somewhere in the middle between RVs and camping. Do you know what I mean?
Sounds nice, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, so you're in a tent, but there's all these lights. They put all these string lights around, and you might have like okay, you may not have a full bed, but you'll have like some sort of mattress that you'll put your sleeping bag on.
Beautiful.
Right. And we were in Topanga Canyon, and I remember we were in this one place that was like hauntingly beautiful. That's the only way I can describe it, because it was like it was like, kind of like forested within that little canyon. It was beautiful, but it was kind of like creepy when you got in there.
Like Joshua Tree or something?
Yeah, no, not even Joshua Tree, because Joshua Tree is not haunting like that.
There's a vibe there, like some shit happened, right? It's like going to the Double Eagle.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like Joshua Tree is cool.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so I was dating this girl. We're in Joshua Tree. And it wasn't until I got back afterwards I learned like Joshua Tree. I was like, oh, I should have like taken a bag of shrooms.
Yeah, man.
I should have just like you know what I like is not shrooms, but
Acid?
blue salvia, which is called there's another name for it, but it's called
Ayahuasca?
sage. No, it's called blue sage. Salvia. It's called salvia, blue sage.
Oh, yeah. I've tried that a couple times.
I love salvia. Talk about 5 minutes of talking to the gods. So my first experience of salvia was the most mind-opening moment of my life. That's the moment in my life, and I was probably around 23, 24, where I can honestly, truly felt like I was connected to everything during that 5-minute trip of salvia.
Absolutely.
And okay, so you've done salvia.
I have, yeah.
So you have a hard trip. I mean, you have like as hard as balls trip.
So yeah, I felt like I died for
Yes.
It felt like a month, and it turned out to be 5 minutes.
Yes, and then because there's no lingering after effects, like for me, once it was done, I was like, I wanted to go back.
Oh shit! No, not me.
So,
I went to
okay.
hell. I went to hell personally.
So I didn't die, but for me, so I sat at the foot of my bed. I was like sitting on the carpet at the foot of my desk.
Were you
bed.
by yourself?
Yeah. I closed the doors to my room, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And now, after I've heard all the horror stories from all my friends, because a lot of people have horror stories, but I was like, how did I not freak out? But I had my little pipe, I had a little tiny little pipe, and I was like, I took some hard hits off of it, and I'm waiting for it to kick in.
Yeah, man.
And I was like sitting there, just like leaning against my bed, and I was like disappointed nothing happened.
Huh.
And so,
it was leaves, right? Not extract.
No, it was leave, yeah.
Yep.
And so I took like one last big hit, held as long as I could, and exhaled, and I was like, damn, that sucks. And I closed my eyes and I leaned back against the bed, and I swear to God, my soul fell out of my body.
Where'd you go, man?
I was floating above the whole earth.
Yep.
Like, I could see my body floating above the whole earth, but it was weird because the whole earth turned into like a brick structure, like bricks, and it all starts melting into me.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And at that moment, I felt like I could feel everything.
The entire universe.
The entire universe. Like I could feel it.
Yeah.
And when I woke up, I was sad I left it.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I was sad I came back because I felt like and I got the pipe and I tried to smoke more to go back and it didn't kick in.
No.
And I remember, my takeaway is like we're all connected. But like I say, immediately after like opening my eyes and coming back, I wish I hadn't opened my eyes. Because I could just feel everything.
Yeah.
And I felt like we were just all so connected. And that was a takeaway for me from it.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time I've had something like that happen was I'd smoked ketamine with a friend.
Oh, shit.
No, I'd snorted ketamine with a friend it was at the music festival in El Paso when they still, and then salvia, I'd smoked leaves. And it was like, whatever, the shit gets shiny, no big deal. And I smoked extract.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
See that bookshelf there?
Yeah.
Somewhere on the bottom shelf, there's actually some salvia.
Bust it out. Just kidding. Maybe at the end of the episode.
Maybe another day. It's late.
No. We've been drinking. We're not supposed to mix psychedelics with alcohol is the rule. Maybe another day. Maybe when Jeanette's here.
You know what? I will take you up on that.
Yeah.
I will take you up. If you want to do salvia, I'll
I won't do salvia never again. That's a joke.
It was so eye-opening to me. It's one of those pivotal moments in my life. Like I say, where my opinion on a lot of things changed.
Absolutely.
Perspective. And it's weird how I don't want to say narcotics, but like something like salvia, it's weird. It's weird, and I always tell people it's about the state of mind you're in.
Right.
And so if somebody says they're going to do something, I always tell them like, make sure you're in a good place, because if you're not in a good place, it's going to bring the ego out.
Doesn't matter what psychedelic.
Right, and you're going to have a bad trip. Mm-hmm. But if you're in a pretty good place, it could be something that could be transformative, and it was for me. Yeah, and I've tried to go back to that many times, and I haven't gotten there yet. But I haven't had any bad trips either.
It was the right timing. Have you had bad trips on anything?
Okay. I haven't had any bad trips or anything, but I got to tell you about an experience.
Yeah, man.
I have a very good friend that passed away. He was in a motorcycle accident.
Oh shit!
And traumatic accident. And
how long ago?
About 2 years ago.
Okay.
Kind of guy that would give you the shirt off his back.
Wow.
An amazing individual.
Those are the ones that leave us, man. It's the best ones.
And you know, he was a very intimidating guy because he was big, he was bulky, strong. And when he worked out, he made a face like he would kill you. But when you talk to him, the nicest man you'll ever meet. Literally. As a matter of fact, during COVID, when I lost my job, he actually gave me a chance. He told me, you want to come work for me? If you do a good job, you can come back tomorrow.
Wow.
And so he gave me the opportunity. Like, he was like, hey, you actually know what you're doing. Like, doing like a remodel. Like, well, I'm brown. Obviously, I know. And so thank goodness to him, he really helped me out. But a wonderful man that had a bad accident. So one day I'm at his house. I'll tell you what this is in a minute. But I was at his house. Oh, I love nicotine.
Yeah?
I don't smoke. I'm not a habitual smoker, but
Really?
I love the nicotine. Love the nicotine.
good.
Helps me focus.
Avoid the vapes and all that shit. They say it's good for cognitive
It
function.
helped Stephen King.
Oh, really?
Stephen King's. So I started doing Nicorette gum after hearing about Stephen King.
Is that an upper?
No, it helps you focus. It's like a neurotropic. Stephen King said when he stopped smoking, he couldn't write books.
Can I try one of those?
Yeah, this is 4 milligrams. The people I know that say that smoke say this is strong.
Okay, I'm gonna do half one and then
Do it.
save the other half.
Do it. I do two of these at a time.
Fuck Salvia, we'll do some Nicorettes.
I literally do 2 of these at a time.
Jesus.
But my friends that are smokers, they're like a good buddy of mine. He's like, dude, how in the hell do you chew that? That just.
Dude, I saw you chew 2 of them last night. I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
But yeah, it's Nicorette. It's 4 milligrams of
I don't know,
of
Mark
nicotine.
was a smoker.
I'm not a
Like
smoker.
not.
Well, I like a good cigar, but I'm not like a habitual smoker.
Oh man, I'm allergic to tobacco.
Are you really?
Yeah, man.
Because I kept on envisioning us doing cigars tonight. Okay. Anyways, so
all I get is like a pulmonary infection. I'm down. Wow, that tastes good.
it's got a good taste to it. It's good.
It's like orange.
It
tastes like
I think
orange
this
Tic
one.
Tac.
This is flavored like fruit something. But I
Vámonos.
take it because of the brain activity. Because like I say, Stephen King said when he stopped smoking, he couldn't write, and they say like when you're on nicotine, it helps your mental activity. So ever since I heard that story on Joe Rogan about Stephen King, I started doing Nicorette like nonstop. Like when I'm having a stressful day, I chew tons of these just to help me get through the day.
I heard he wrote Cujo on cocaine.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to get me to do cocaine, well,
Oh, I'm not. No more white powders after fentanyl. No more pills.
so
We're good.
this guy Sam, God bless his soul, wonderful person. I mean, just a wonderful person.
Whoa, that works fast.
Right?
Whoa.
It's orally. You start feeling it right away, right?
I'm like, my tongue is like, good morning, sunshine.
I go to Sam's house and he just tells me, like, because of COVID and I lost my job and everything, he's like,
Yeah.
you look really stressed, bro. And I'm like, yeah. He gives me his vape pen. He goes, why don't you take a hit of this? And, growing up, I've done weed here and there.
Sure.
Like I wasn't like a big old pothead or anything like that, but much less vaping I've never done. So I do it like the typical like joint. So I just take a big old hit.
Yeah, man.
Hold it. Exhale. Okay. Take another big hit. Hold it. And then, like after like the third time, Sam's like, "Whoa there, princess. Slow down, tiger." He goes, "This is like really strong stuff." And he tells me that he's like slow down. And I'm like, huh? He's like, dude, this is strong. Take it. He did the wax.
It's the dabs. I thought when you're talking about vape, I thought it was like
It wasn't.
a
He liked the
nicotine vape
wax.
that- yeah, man. Dabs are nice.
So I'm like taking monster hits, and like I don't know how much time passes, but at some point I'm trying to talk, but my mouth is not working.
Whoa.
I'm like you know what I mean? Like I'm just like
Salvia.
sitting there, like I'm just like sitting there, just chilling, and I can't speak. And then like he starts play fighting with his wife. She like made breakfast burritos or something like that, but she gave me one, she gave him one, and she only made two, thinking he was only gonna be only one thing. And he was play fighting his wife about tortillas and making burritos. And he's like I work and I make money to give you tortillas so you can make me some breakfast and make me a burrito. But they're like play fighting, and you use this wood spoon I work so hard for, and she's play fighting back with him. And the whole time this is going on, it's like watching a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like my mind was just like
Popeye and olive oil.
yes.
Yeah.
My mind was gone. So I'm watching them fight like a cartoon, and I remember it's funny with weed, you remember it. But I remember just sitting there just watching them thinking like, this is a cartoon. They're like cartoons, really? Is this really happening? And then when I try to speak, nothing comes out. I'm like, oh. And at some point, after like an hour of this, he's like, dude, you just want to go home and go relax? He's like, are you okay? He's like, we're going to go chill. You want to go? And like, I was like, It's like, go home. And I'm just like, what just happened? Like the next day, I'm like,
Nothing is real.
like it was like not real at all. It was the most surreal thing to like I just remember them play fighting, like if I was watching like a cartoon, like the old Looney Tunes, the black and white ones,
Yeah, man.
like that for like an hour. And then when I try to say something, like I was just like, I remember just sitting there, just like thinking, like, why aren't words coming out of my mouth? Like I'm trying to speak. Like I remember like talking to myself about this, like I'm trying to talk, but my mouth is not working.
Huh.
And like just like that, it's just like, they're kind of crazy. I was like, why did they engage them and be like, just ask them like, what's the problem? What's going on? Like,
Yeah.
is this really happening? And like my mouth was just like not working, like at all.
Frozen in time. That sounds like salvia to me, man. It's a psychedelic experience with nicotine. Damn.
I love this nicotine.
I think I only had a third, and I'm like, yeah, dude, you aren't kidding.
I went to Monterey the first day I met this chick, and I had like a pack of gum, but I had like 2 of these stuffed in there.
Yeah.
So we went to this store called Soriana, like right by the hotel.
Hipermat.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And so we're walking around, and I'm looking at something, and she's like chewing. I noticed she's chewing gum, and she's just holding onto the basket like this.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, no siento bien. And I look at her, I'm like, you started chewing my gum, didn't you? This is a girl that never smoked a day in her life.
Right. She's treating it like it's a chiclet.
Yeah, because it looks like a peachy chiclets.
It's the same shit, same shape.
The
different color.
The 4 milligrams of Nicorettes, if you've never smoked, it's
These are
like
4?
a kick in the ball. Yeah, this is a 4 milligram.
Dude, I probably had like 1.5. Immediately I felt it. Like my tongue is.
It comes in like an 8 or 10 pack like this. Because I pay $50 for like a box of like
The
like
Sam's
50
Club
of them.
ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on a bad day, I'll go through like all 10 or 12 of those.
I weigh.
Yeah, like on a bad day.
Bro, have you looked up the effects of that?
I have, and
Do you sleep okay after a dozen of those?
dude, I can't even describe to you. You know what? So I do it like my dip. I put it underneath my lip.
You dip too.
No, like I
Stopped.
used to.
You stopped. Okay.
Matter of fact, there was a nicotine dip I started doing called what was it called? This is dip. This is snooze. I love snooze.
Those are the packs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I stopped doing this because you swallow it, and I'm like, it can't be good for you. So there was a nicotine dip.
Is it the Kodiak?
No, that I started doing because I just felt like, you know what?
Damn.
This can't be good for you.
I'm starting to wonder if these are tobacco derived.
Right?
Like, did I just have some tobacco? Like I won't get like I'm not anaphylactic.
Zen.
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So I put it under my lip like Zen.
Yeah.
And so much so, I do like this, but mainly nicotine gum now. So much so, before I go to sleep, I put one in, and I'll even wake up in the middle of the night and I'll put another one in.
When you wake up, is it still there? Like,
It's like,
spit it
yeah,
out?
it's still there. Like once every 4 months, the gum will be on my pillow, like stuck to my face, and be like, oh. Fuck.
I forgot.
And now that like my girlfriend starts staring here and all that stuff, I don't do it now because I don't want to get in her hair.
Yeah.
But I'll fall asleep with the nicotine gum under my lip, and it'll stay there. I'll eat dinner with it, and I'll keep the gum under my lip. Yeah, like all balls to the wall, like, and I'll wake. If I fall asleep with it, I'll wake up like at 1 or 2 in the morning, and I'll put another one in.
Did you eat pizza yesterday with it in your mouth?
I did. I did. Yeah, I did.
Oh, crazy.
And and I'll blame Joe Rogan on that because he started talking about Stephen King, and I thought if it's good for Stephen King and if it helps him like cognitively come up with all this work, maybe because I was big into noritropics. So do you know what noritropics are?
I've heard of them.
It's like supplement. It's like brain hacking. They call it brain hacking. It's like supplements you take.
The mushrooms and
to
stuff?
like no.
Like the good mushrooms?
No, not even that. Okay, yeah, good
The
mushrooms.
neurotropics, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of over the counter supplements you could take to try to
Like lion's mane and shit like that?
yes.
Yeah.
On it they have Alpha Brain.
Yeah.
The first week you take Alpha Brain, your dreams are so lucid. They're nuts.
Like it extends REM cycle or what?
No, you have like dreams like if if it's happening in real life.
Oh man, I hope I go through that.
Lucid dreams. So like with Alpha Brain, the first week you take it, your dreams are like. I've taken a class of drugs, over-the-counter drugs or supplements called paracetams.
Never heard of that.
So it's made to make you mentally sharp. It was developed by the Air Force. So during the 60s and 70s when we had bombers in the air 24/7 to counter the Soviet threat,
Yeah.
they wanted they were trying to find something for the pilots to keep them alert, but without the jitteriness of like caffeines.
Huh.
So they created a class of drug called paracetams that helps keep you focused and sharp without the what do you call that? Like the
the jitters off.
the jitters.
Like Adderall and all that bullshit.
And you can buy it online. Adderall.
Can you get prescribed paracetams?
You can buy it off the internet. It's a supplement. It's called paracetam, and they have all sorts of different.
I'll write that down.
They have all sorts of different paracetams, but what's happened is if you take like a lot, you get what they call brain fog. So you have to find like the balance for you that will help you function throughout the day. Now, modafinil, which is the active ingredient in the narcoleptic medicine. You just said it a minute ago.
So there's Adderall,
Adderall,
and then Provigil and all that.
So Adderall, there's something called modafinil.
Modafinil.
No, modafinil.
Modafinil, not modafinil.
Because modafinil I believe is, and I could be getting this wrong, so don't sue me if I get it wrong. But I think modafinil is the non-active version of it. You still can't buy it over the counter here.
Right, you have to get script.
But modafinil, you can order online out of France. So I took it. I was taking it. So I took it that specifically because I didn't want any of the side effects of taking Adderall.
Right. Yeah. The meth shit.
And I would take modafinil and like in the morning at work the whole day away. And it's like I would look at my watch and be like, sorry, 4 o'clock. I was just sitting here for like 2 minutes.
Right.
You have everything done. You're like your level of focus is just like next level. I still have the package of it that I got off the internet just because I wanted to buy more of it.
Right.
Because it was so intense. Like your level of focus is so intense.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I was trying to do the whole brain hacking thing to help me get to like, next level, which again goes back to the nicotine. Same thing too.
Interesting.
Trying to use it to like stimulate my brain to keep me moving forward. But what's curious about cigarettes is, remember that lady in France that lived to 120?
No.
There was a lady in France. She was like the oldest living person. She lived like 120 or something like that, 120, 22 or something. She was a heavy smoker.
Huh.
And most of your centurions that live past 100 are heavy smokers. What does that say? I mean,
so there's something to the nicotine for sure.
There's got to be something there. If you could get past the cancer, the chemicals, and all the stuff that they add into it,
yeah.
There's something about it that gets you to the next level.
So Bruce Willis smoked cigarettes.
Really?
So from what I remember,
it's funny that you say that because that's where our conversation started.
Yep.
Yeah.
So back looping around full circle. So the AI thing. So
right. The SAG strikes, AI.
Yep.
Then we went to Bruce Willis.
Michael J. Fox.
And then we went on a
cognition
massive tangent.
Yep.
Okay.
It's my middle name.
So we talked about Michael J. Fox off of Bruce Willis, but okay, so go on with Bruce Willis.
So Bruce Willis had so if I'm not mistaken, he worked for a long time, was just doing a lot of like minor roles, indie, and then he gets Die Hard, becomes famous. Things kind of slow down for him and John Travolta, and they get Pulp Fiction.
I was going to say, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. I love it. Best Christmas movie ever. I don't care.
Right?
What anybody says, that's a Christmas movie.
That's it.
So apparently within the last 2-3 years, he's been losing a lot of his cognition, and it turns out he has this disease where, he's slowly losing who he is, and like, yeah, it seems like Alzheimer's, but it's not. So he made a deal with the Russians to where they can take his likeness and his voice, and
with the Russians.
Yeah, with the Russians, and they're using his image and his persona, and they're creating movies or commercials without him. And it seems like Hollywood is trying to do the exact same thing, even with like minor actors or people who haven't done a SAG role like myself, and including background actors. So what they're trying to do is, if you go and you work on a background movie, all they need to do is take your voice, take your image, or even just your image, and apply a voice to it.
Yeah.
And Hollywood, these execs have decided, oh, we don't need actors anymore. As soon as we get your image, scan you through video, we have you forever.
Has any movie been made like that yet, 100% with an actor?
So, as far as I know, there was the Final Destination movie that Final Fantasy movie that came out when I guess we would have been in college or late high school.
I remember that.
And that was fully, like, it was completely animated, no actors, and they made it, like, I think that was, like, the first step. And now that it seems like this Bruce Willis situation, I don't know if it was that specifically. I don't know if that was the catalyst. But right now, unfortunately, the execs and SAG had come together within the last... we've been on strike for 90 plus days. And within the last 2 weeks, we got... Yeah, it was actually last weekend. We got notice from SAG saying the execs have pulled away from the negotiation table. They're saying,
really?
We don't want to pay out. So our president in SAG right now is Fran Drescher. And
really? Fran Drescher?
Yeah,
no joke.
She's our president. And she just got reelected. And she's been pushing.
Kidding.
Yeah. So what they've asked for is...
Beautiful woman, by the way.
Absolutely love her. I don't know if they would ever take her voice for AI.
I know, right?
But no, her as a person, like, yeah, the nanny's voice is one thing, but... Her as a president, she's done a great job. Got reelected with good reason.
How long has she been president of the SAG?
It's been about 2 or 3 years.
Really?
And before her,
that blows my mind. That blows my mind.
It was Gabrielle Carteris, who was on Beverly Hills 90210. She was the nerdy girl with the glasses.
Really?
She was the president right before Fran Drescher.
The nerdy girl with the glasses. Mm-hmm. That's old 90210. Yeah, 90210.
Yeah, wow. Man. Luke Perry. Brandon Walsh, all of that stuff.
Dude, we're going down like crazy memory lane.
That's all right.
Damn.
We're not that far in age, man. So it's like, we grew up around the same time.
We really did. I'm just blown that Fran Drescher is the president of the SAG.
Currently, yeah, and just got reelected. So she's done a great job, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, all they were asking was for extra 53 cents. So like if you pay $9.99 on... let's just say $9.99 for Netflix. All they were asking is that they increased that rate to $10.52, and that amount would come back to the actors.
Let's think about this, because like Netflix is what, like $30 now a month?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Without looking it up, well, let's see here. What is the average
monthly rate?
Netflix monthly fee. Oops, wrong button. Let's just take a gander at that. Netflix price is anywhere from $6.99 to $19.99.
$19.99.
I feel like $19.99 because I feel like I'm paying a lot. Yeah,
that's like a premium everything.
Well, I feel like $19.99 is if you have like 3 or 4 devices, because it goes by the number of devices you have.
Right, within the household. And they've reeled back on that now with the whole...
Right. And okay, so let's say $19.99, let's say $15, average, $15, right? How many Netflix subscribers in the U.S.?
Oh, man.
75 Okay, so here's something you don't realize.
Million?
The U.S. is the 3rd most populous country in the world. 300 million people.
China, Russia, and us?
No, China, India, and us. Russia's Russia's either 4 or 5, if I remember correctly.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it goes China, India, and us. So we have 300 million people in the United States. 75.57 million people.
Almost a third of the country.
Yeah, almost a third.
That's crazy.
So let's just do the math. Let's just do 75 times, let's say average price $15, because not everybody's paying 16.
Right.
That's 1,125 million, which would be, we're not even talking billions. We're talking more per month.
And they don't want to break bread. They don't want to throw us.
What?
All we were asking for as SAG is 53 cents per member. 53 more cents. And the exec said, fuck y'all, we're backing out.
What?
That was last week.
So the amount of monies. Okay, excuse me. This is the United States and Canada.
Oh, there's
Canadians.
Not even Mexico.
Not even Mexico. So let's go to the low end of it. $6.99 times 75. That's 524 million.
And that's crazy because some of those are the ones that, like, all right, you get streaming or discs. You can get discs mailed to you.
That would be by month, though. That'd be per month.
Monthly. Imagine what these guys are making a year.
What?
So they don't want to. They don't want to bust out. They don't want to.
What?
And
like that's more than any theatrical release.
Yep.
Like
theaters, they almost died during the pandemic, man.
Right. Theaters almost died during the pandemic because nobody could go to the theater.
Right.
So the amount of money we are talking to Netflix to like contract to like actors,
yeah,
it's like a drop in the hat for them.
Yeah, and they don't want to break bread. They don't. They're thinking, okay, we're the suits. It's like a monarchy, man. They don't want to.
Holy smokes!
They don't want to pay the jester.
That's nuts.
They'd rather just execute us and move on, and take our image and AI that shit and. Like, there could be an AI version of me, as far as I know, because I've worked background on... The first big movie that I worked on was Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a cool movie.
Yeah, man.
That's a cool movie. Okay, hold on. So I just Googled how much money does... I'm kicking something here that's making vibration. While I just Googled how much does Netflix make a month? While it isn't the biggest net revenue stream, it still brings an additional $30 million a month. With the streaming subscriptions alone, the company is raking in $950 million a month.
And they don't want to break bread.
This means Netflix makes around $11 billion a year.
And that's Netflix alone. That's not Paramount Plus. That's not Hulu. That's not...
Holy, like the amount of money we are talking here is insane, like stupid insane.
Yep.
And they don't want to like.
All we're asking is 53 cents. That's for everybody, all of the actors. There's about 180,000 SAG-AFTRA members, and they don't want to break bread.
Netflix gross profit. So the gross profit for the 12th month ending in June 30th, 2023 was $12 billion, a 1.21% decline year over end. But it's still $12 billion.
Mm-hmm. Just wait. Like, let them do their thing, and then we'll just have mass tort lawsuits.
Okay, so let's see. 2023? That doesn't make any sense. And the net profit for Netflix ending in June 30th, 2023 was $12.457.
Dude, and what's crazy is they're getting rid of discs. Did you hear about that?
In 2022, it was 12.447, 6.66 increase from 2021. What? Like,
imagine how much their streaming went up during the pandemic. Like, no going to theaters.
Right.
They got the taste, and they don't want.
Hey, if OnlyFans was raking it in, Netflix was too.
Wet our beaks, come on. But they're cutting corners.
And so if they get rid of the disc service,
which they did.
Yeah. So that they're not losing any money to that. They don't have to make them or anything like that.
And you heard about Best Buy this week, right?
No, what happened to Best Buy?
Best Buy's getting rid of Blu-rays and DVDs completely.
What?
They're going completely to streaming. So like now you can go and buy a Netflix card, and that's what they have as an option.
What?
I mean, I appreciate that because you're getting rid of a lot of plastics and paper.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
but you're cutting you're cutting a lot of the revenue that a lot of these people are getting.
Like, I had no clue. And like I say, 12 billion. Like,
yeah, man. If you have DVDs or Blu-rays, don't sell them. That's the new 8-track. Like,
right? Yeah,
if China shoots one of our satellites down and we don't have Wi-Fi, that's going to be your fallback. People are going to be not being able to stream.
You know the last DVD I bought?
What's that?
I bought it on eBay.
What was it?
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
That's a good one. Audrey Hepburn was a baddie.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, not Breakfast at Tiffany's. I'm sorry. I take
Club?
it back. No.
Oh, okay.
Close.
Sweet 16 Candles?
St. Elmo's Fire.
Never saw it.
St. Elmo.
I'm going to write that down.
To me, St. Elmo's Fire for me is such a classic 80s movie. Coming of age movie. Charlie Sheen.
Really?
Demi Moore. Yes.
Roswell, New Mexico.
Yes. No. Was Demi Moore in?
She was.
No.
She's from Roswell.
Yes. No. Yes, Demi Moore. Demi Moore was in that.
Want to hear a crazy story?
What's that?
All right. So I was working when I lived in Arlington, Texas.
Uh-huh.
I was working as a server.
What's that cartoon, Hank? King of the Hill.
King of the Hill. Well, that's Arlen, but I think it was based on, I don't know if it was like Austin or what.
Really?
Mike Judge, who's from Albuquerque. Did you know that?
No, I did know that.
Mike Judge, the creator of Beavis and Butthead's from Albuquerque.
No joke.
Yeah, man.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Bam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry. So
you know about his dad?
No.
We'll come back to that. He was one of the most famous comedians.
What?
Yeah, he was like the first comedian who made it mainstream, like after the Tonight Show.
I'm just thinking Jerry Seinfeld here, but I know I'm not right.
No, like I think he might even actually be the first comedian who got a sitcom, which was called Chico and the Man after that. And his career went on a decline, got very depressed, as most comedians do, a lot of bullshit, and then that's when he shot himself.
What?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Freddie Prinze's dad.
Who is it?
Freddie Prinze. So there's Freddie Prinze Sr., and that was the guy I was just talking about, and Freddie Prinze Jr., that's his kid.
What?
Yeah, man. Freddie Prinze Jr. has New Mexico roots.
Oh, I know Freddie Prinze Jr. because not just Albuquerque, but he's from La Cueva.
Oh, really?
Yeah, La Cueva High School in Albuquerque.
You're not thinking Neil Patrick Harris, are you?
No,
so
I don't.
You know Doogie Howser?
Yeah.
Was discovered at NMSU.
What?
Okay, so his parents, like when he was a kid.
Dude, you are like blowing my mind right now. You're like straight up blowing my mind right now.
There are a lot of famous people who came out of Cruces, man, including, while Neil Patrick Harris came down here and met a gentleman by the name of Mark Medoff, who the theater's named after now.
I know Mark. Yeah, I know the name Mark Medoff.
He came down for a children's like summer acting thing. Mark Medoff met him, and he was like, okay, you're a talent. Let me get you in contact with this agent in LA, and boom, we have Doogie Howser.
Okay, Chico and the Man.
Yep.
And there's a picture here of Freddie Prinze with Tony Orlando. I've seen, dude, mind blown. What?
We're the trivia guys right here.
Dude, you are like blowing my mind, especially with this whole Chico and the Man, Freddie Prinze. Okay. Holy smoke. Okay. So where were we coming off of here?
Bruce Willis. It went to Bruce Willis, Netflix, discs.
Okay, first of all, let's just say Netflix is making a ridiculous amount of money, but they don't want to like negotiate nothing.
No, they actually. So there was actually a SAG post that said, "Hey guys, sorry, we tried to ask for the 53 cents extra per member." And they said, fuck you, and they stepped away from the table.
What?
Yeah, man, I'll send you that post later. It's kind of sad. It was the day after the Israel-Hamas thing.
Dude, we haven't even touched the Israel thing here.
We'll get on that.
Like, my mind is blown.
All we talked about was Natalie Portman and Gal Gadot.
Okay, hold on. We've been talking about Bruce Willis for like an hour now. And
he deserves it.
Okay, so here's what I pulled up on Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Because this just blew my mind. The type of dementia affecting Bruce Willis is just one of several forms of dementia. I've dealt with dementia. I don't know a lot about dementia, but I've dealt with a lot of people with dementia. Figuring out which one a patient has is important because it affects the kind of care he needed and what the patient and family members need. Will is 67 because he's up there, not the oldest, not the youngest.
Right.
Has frontotemporal dementia. It's a rare condition that usually shows up earlier than other forms of dementia.
So yeah, I'd say in your mid-60s, that's pretty early.
Pretty early. Yeah.
I've come across people who've dealt with Alzheimer's. They're closer to their 70s and 80s.
No, I'm talking 80s, 90s.
Man, could you imagine dealing with that 30 years early?
Well, I've dealt with patients that have had that like in the 30s and 40s too.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. Jesus Christ.
Were they like
indeed.
fighters or
No.
race car drivers, or it's just genetic?
Very just normal people. I don't know if it was genetic, but just very normal people like you
Interesting.
and me. Nothing outstanding. Nothing. Just normal people.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So back to my Arlington story. So I was working at this place called Tia's Tex-Mex, and I didn't know a lot of people. It's hard to meet people in the Dallas area because it's like dating
Right.
confused. Everyone's kicking it with people that they know
Right.
from high school or people that you meet at work.
And Dallas is interesting because you have like the hood, you have the nice areas, you have like the Mexican area, you
Yeah.
have like, yeah.
It was crazy. Like the craziest part of Dallas was like a major black neighborhood called White Settlement. They took over.
Really?
Yeah. It's like that and Oak Cliff are like the places that you don't go to.
Really?
And that's kind of expanded within the last 5-10 years. Like Deep Ellum is the like main downtown where people go and hang out. And yeah, man, that got very skittish. So while I was working at Tia's Tex-Mex in Arlington, I met a guy from Alamogordo. I was like, oh, crazy. Like, we're both New Mexico.
Right.
Go over to his place. We would smoke after work. It was all good. And then, like, maybe a month later, a buddy of his by the name of Wayne, who is from Roswell. I don't know how true the story is or not, but I dig it. He told me one day when he was in high school, he goes over to his cousin's house to go, like, smoke weed or whatever.
Yeah.
Pulls up. There's a giant RV there. He goes into his cousin's trailer, and Demi Moore and Bruce Willis are sitting in the kitchen. And he's
What?
He's like, whoa, what the fuck? And he's just like staring. He's like, oh, nice to meet you. And Bruce
What?
Willis is like, you staring at my lady? Like, he's like, oh, no. Like, so yeah, man, she's legit from Roswell. I don't know. That's not my story. That's his. I dig it. Like, I believe him. He's not a very good liar, but that story, he swore by it. So, yeah, I mean, I think we, that's all of the Bruce Willis story there as far as that goes.
Wow.
And yeah, he's on cognitive decline, unfortunately, as he just pulled up. And I think that a lot of that is circulating around what's happening to all actors in general.
Maybe genetics. Maybe being around all electronics, the frequencies, the
Right.
wave. I mean, who knows what could it be?
Right.
You and I are not a doctor,
We're not.
but then even doctors don't know everything.
No, they can be wrong all the time.
Right. And there's things out there that we just don't know how it affects people. So who knows? I mean, but all I can say is just like Bruce Willis, what an amazing actor.
Absolutely.
Like, amazing. Like him in Red, like
I haven't seen that, man. And
it's hilarious. First of all, it's hilarious.
I know Richard Dreyfuss somewhat personally.
Really,
Yeah.
and amazing. Like my favorite movie of him is the what's the one where he's like a smoke jumper where he's the plane pilot.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
Oh, Always and Forever, I think it's called.
Always and forever.
Richard Dreyfuss, right?
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss. Oh my God, Richard. Hold on, Dreyfuss. Or maybe it's called Always. It's called Always. I'll never forget that movie. It's just a great movie. He like plays the most of it as a ghost.
Oh, what? It's like Ghost Dad or what?
No, he plays like a pilot for the forestry service.
Huh.
And he crashes and he dies. And so, if I remember, it's been a long time, like the woman he was in love with, which he never like tells her he's in love with her or anything like that.
Yeah.
But he kind of has like that give and take relationship. After he dies, she's trying to move on, and he's like trying to encourage her as a ghost.
Huh.
It's a really good movie.
Interesting.
It's really good. Yeah. It's called Always, like Jaws, right?
Yeah, man.
Yes,
We're gonna need
Jaws.
a bigger boat.
We're going to need a bigger boat. And what's funny is him, okay, Rich, Oh, old Spanish ladies. Old Spanish ladies. Okay. Oh, I gotta look this up because I looked this up not long ago. Because I like it. It's like because Russell Crowe was in the Master Command,
Yeah.
and they were singing Spanish ladies. Do you know that song at all?
I don't know that song, and I've never seen that movie, but I'm editing it to my list right now.
It's just like it's a sailor song. It's an old sailor. It's a sailor song from like when old wooden ships used to like travel the oceans, and so I heard it on Master Commander, and I was really taken by it. And of course, I don't think my Spanish ladies. Oh, they good. This is as high as it goes. Till we see you again. Hello.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. It's like a cool song, like old Spanish ladies.
I need to watch that for sure.
So I started looking up this Spanish lady song, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I was really into it. Well, Quint from Jaws sings it. The actor Quint.
He was amazing.
And the actor, what song does it's called Spanish Ladies. Quint singing. What is Quint? What is the actor that plays Quint?
Oh man, I couldn't name him, but I see him.
So Quint, go figure. Quint from Jaws.
Kobe.
He plays a sailor, like 30 years before in a black and white movie.
30 years before Jaws?
30 years before Jaws. And he is like, okay, remember Quentin Jaws? Scraggly old man. Come on.
That was one of my main monologues.
Right. Quint, right?
Or 10,000 Men in the Sea.
Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw. God bless you.
So in Jaws, he sings hello and bedoodle Spanish ladies. Da, 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 da. That's Quentin Jaws. He sings
They're all
that.
fucked up, and then the shark hits
and then
them.
in Master and Command, no, they don't hit him. But in Master and Command, they sing it, and it's kind of like a kind of important scene where you the lieutenant. You see that he's kind of like what do you call that when you're in a leadership position? You're like kind of fraternizing with the men.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's a lieutenant. He shouldn't be singing with the men. It's kind of an important role. So, in my search of like the lyrics of all that, so Quinn sings it in Jaws. I was like, oh, he kind of walks, and he just kind of like he's just kind of like it's a random scene. Hello, and good day, you old Spanish ladies. When he's there with Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
Come to find out. Robert Shaw is in another movie as a sailor, like 30 years before.
Crazy.
Singing the same song.
He like merged the two.
Like I don't think anybody now would know it, but I think people in the 70s and 80s, they would have like, that's the guy.
He was improvising.
I don't know if he was improvising. Like if he wasn't improvising, that would have been a hell of a thing for like a writer to come up with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if he didn't improvise that, Spielberg was like, all right, and what you're going to do here is, remember that movie that you did?
Yeah.
So you're on the boat again, and you're the captain of the ship, kind of, because it's your boat, and you're hunting this big old dinosaur.
Right, and it was with Richard Dreyfuss. And, okay, funny story, and so this is from Jaws. This is him in the old version.
Oh, I know that tune perfect.
With the ladies. Farewell and adieu.
This is Robert Shaw.
To you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu.
18 years earlier, when he starred as Captain Dan Tempest in the movie called The Buccaneers.
I'm going to write that down.
Called The Buccaneers. And even when I saw the movie, when I see this clip, it's like a young version of him. I'm like, let's see if it shows the Quint here. Okay.
Farewell and
It's in Jaws.
To you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you
And he's walking into the
For we've
he's just walking on the
received
ship.
orders
And
there's
to
a throwback.
sail back to
It
Boston.
was a throwback, and we didn't realize it.
So
It was Richard.
never more shall we see you again.
Amen.
Like-
God bless you.
right, like and so I got there from hold on, Spanish Ladies, Master in Command. I started that quest from Master in Command.
Spanish ladies,
Welcome to the ladies of Spain.
For we received orders to sail for Roding.
Wow.
We hope in a short time
To see you again.
That's an homage
It's-
to Robert Shaw, for sure.
It's like it's crazy how you go down the rabbit hole and you make those connections.
Yeah.
And then you end up at Robert Shaw 18 years before Jaws, and he's singing the original song, probably sung 100 years before.
Yep.
Like, how cool is that?
That there are a lot of links like that in Hollywood.
Like legit, how as cool is that? Like, I was like, do you want any more black?
Yeah, I'll take a splish or two.
Just a splash or two.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
just enough
to there you go. That's
to wet the
perfect.
palate.
Perfect.
There we go. Oh, my.
To melt the ice.
That's like those three things, scenes to me are like it's just a cool song,
absolutely.
and I could see myself on like an old galleon or an old, wooden ship like from England singing that song,
Mopping
You know what
the
I mean?
deck.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Hello and Badu, old Spanish ladies. Cheers,
Slancha.
Robert Shaw. Cheers. So anyway, Bruce Willis has dementia. Damn.
I wonder. I don't know what his current condition is, but it seemed like it was on a fast decline. So
Yeah.
he's
That's too
done
bad.
working.
That's
I got to
too
watch
bad.
Red too. Like
So I saw Anthony Bourdain movie called. It's about Anthony Bourdain. He didn't. It's about him. It's called Roadrunner.
it's a documentary.
Yes, it's his friends make a documentary called Roadrunner, and it calls out to me. Like it calls to me. So he didn't make Roadrunner, but
It's after he passed.
It's
right?
after he's passed, and his friends get together, and they get all these clip compilations, and they talk about him from when he first started as a cook to when he started doing what is his Netflix series, or no, what is this series
So
called?
there was No Reservations.
No Reservation, and there was another one.
I can't remember the other one.
And how he gets married, he gets another married, and then after his breakup with that one chick, and then like
The Argento girl.
yeah,
Ugh.
and then like where she passes away. But like watching that movie Roadrunner calls to me. It just like speaks to my soul, like him talking about like living life like the adventure of sailing down the Congo, flying through the Middle East, like passing a border guard, throwing Marlboro cigarettes to them as they fly through, like as guns are blazing. It just speaks to me on such a personal level. And then that led me to the Robin Williams movie.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
There's a connection there, man.
Yeah. And Robin Williams speaks to me too, like when they talk about all the movies he's been in.
Yeah.
But like for him, he knew something was going on in his head,
Right.
and it's for some reason those two movies are so personal to me about their journey of life and doing the things you want to do. But for Bourdain, it like ultimately the loss of love that led him to there, and with Robin Williams about his losing his mind and not being able to control it.
Yeah.
It speaks to me on such a personal level,
Yeah.
two great individuals, which kind of started me on my path. Like, why the hell not? You know what I mean?
Like in regard to like travel or life. in
Like
general?
doing this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Who's
and-
stopping you?
And everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, so before them, Joe Rogan, he has people that go on his podcast. Jay and Silent Bob,
Oh,
the guy with the long hair, Silent Bob.
Kevin Smith.
And so one of the things that Joe Rogan had talked about one of his old podcasts was an old saying that most men live a life of quiet desperation.
Yeah.
God bless it. That just spoke to me. Most men live a life of quiet desperation. Men have families. Men go to work.
Yeah.
Men go their day to day. But there's a quiet desperation in your life. Most men live a quiet desperation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we're it's like everything's uniform while at the same time we're primates.
You get married, you have kids, you get your 8 to 5 job. And then Kevin Smith talks about his dad.
What do you say about his dad?
I believe this is the Kevin Smith interview. I believe it is. Where he talks about like his dad was a good dad.
Yeah.
Worked for the post office. His whole job in the post office was canceling stamps. Like canceling stamps. Getting an envelope, voiding them out. He talks about like his dad, like he's like, I don't know what my dad's dreams were. I don't know what my dad wanted to do and all that.
Yeah.
But my dad was a good man.
He was
went to work,
compartmentalized to the worker, the father.
came home, had a couple beers, went to bed, might have a nightcap.
Yeah.
And he talks about like how they all go to his dad's birthday, they go to a restaurant, have some steaks, have some cheesecake, everything's going good. He says, maybe my dad had too much drink. Maybe it was steak. Maybe he had an extra. He goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he gets a call from his brother, like, get to the hospital. It's dad. And he's saying, like, all right, what did dad not have? Heart attack? All right. High blood pressure?
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, he's saying, what does dad not have? He gets to the hospital, and he comes across his brother. And he says, his brother's walking down. He's just shaking his head. Kind of like saying, that's it.
It's it. Yeah.
And so when he asked, I don't know who it was, he asked if it was his brother or something, but he says, like, what happened? He goes, Dad died screaming.
Oh, shit.
He died screaming. He had like a massive heart attack. He died. But in that moment, he died screaming. And he says, it doesn't matter. You're a good man. You play by the rules. You do things the way you should. Raise your family. Get married. But in the end, he died screaming. And for some reason, that like just hit me.
It was like he had a bad trip, even though he did everything he was supposed to.
Yeah.
Like,
and at the end, when he had a massive heart attack, he died screaming, and he was dead. And Kevin Smith says, you know, so ever since then, whatever I want to do in life, I do it. Why the hell not? If I want to have a baseball collection, why not?
Yeah.
Because at the end of it all, I may die screaming.
What does it matter? Yeah.
What does it matter? Do what you want to do in life. So between those two things, like Kevin Smith, like a good man dying screaming, and Joe Rogan saying most men live life in a quiet desperation. Man, Mark, I started swinging for the fences. Like at that moment, I started going after everything. I started traveling. If somebody called me up in another state and said, you want to play rugby? I went.
Yeah.
If somebody says, hey, you don't have an extra like skydiving ticket, go do it. If I meet a random internet chick and she's in another country, fuck it, go.
With protection.
Yeah. But I started doing it.
Yeah, man.
And so like, and I started dating multiple chicks and started doing, but I started like swinging for the fences. Why? For those two reasons. Because you could be a good man, you could die screaming.
Yeah.
And this idea that most men live a life of quiet desperation. When I die, I want people to think like, you know what? He went for it. He lived.
Right.
Why not?
There are a lot of good quotes on there, man. Like there's that one.
Yeah.
That one, like that's very inspirational. And I haven't seen that initial Kevin Smith interview.
I have it saved on YouTube.
I know he was like one of his first like 50 guests.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and watch that.
Yeah.
The other one that hits me hard.
I hope you make it really big in your life, so I could say like, hey, you know what? Me and him that Sunday night.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I'm not like a lot of people ask me, oh, like what are you trying to do? Like you want to be famous? I don't want to be famous. Like I really don't. I just want to work. I want to be able to get paid to create characters, and to me,
to do what you want to do and to live comfortably. Is there anything wrong with that?
Absolutely not. I mean, you could pay me minimum wage to be an actor,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be fucking happy doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Why the hell not, right?
And that leads me to the other quote: "Comparison is the thief of joy."
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So, like, I mean, I don't give a fuck what my neighbor's doing, but especially down here in the Southwest and Cruces, as far as like the film industry, yeah, there's a lot of competition. It does feel like a mini Hollywood.
So, okay, let's go back to what we were talking about
Yeah,
real fast.
sure.
Because you said, like, down here. So, the film industry in New Mexico,
Yeah.
what's going on?
So Hollywood's dying, man.
Is it, like, dying?
Like, genuinely, like, it seems like people realized now that, God bless our governor here, they implemented the
You
tax
said
incentive.
he. Was that, like, in the Richardson era?
So I can't recall if it was either Bill Richardson or Gary Johnson.
It had to be Richardson.
I think it was Richardson.
Yeah.
He might have implemented the tax incentive here.
Uh-huh.
I believe it was like something like 25 or 30%. And yeah, before you know it, productions are leaving California and they're going to Canada, here, Atlanta, India, because it's cheaper to produce movies out there. You have, areas like here. One of our biggest selling points is you have 300 days of sunlight. So
Right,
why the
absolutely.
hell not?
Why
the
not?
hell not? You very rarely have snow or like.
And then
rain.
New Mexico is so diverse.
It is.
Desert, forest, and everything in between.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like any background or setting that you need, you're gonna find it here. You want to shoot a
Yes.
place that looks like Canada, you go up north.
So, and it's funny because growing up in New Mexico, you know what they always said? New Mexico's the land of enchantment. But you know what we always said?
The land of entrapment.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it is beautiful, though. It's stupid beautiful.
Do you know how long film has been active here?
How long?
Since 1912.
Really? Because 1912 the year it became a state.
Yep.
What was
Same
the-
time as the revolution in Mexico.
Same time as the revolution in Mexico. That's right.
Same year that my great grandpa was born.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
He made it to 104.
Wow.
So he actually saw.
My grandmother made 106.
Oh, God bless them both.
God bless them both.
Where was she from?
Okay. My family history. Now, my grandfather's side, he's from Basque, Spain.
Oh, wow.
The Basque country. My grandmother's side, and I have to really look it up, but she's related somehow to like the Princess of Portugal.
Oh, wow.
But they all came in through Mexico. My grandmother's side, my great granddad was a federale. He was a bank auditor.
Whoa.
So Pancho Villa, because he was in Chihuahua,
Yeah.
was looking for federales to kill him.
Yep.
And since he was a bank auditor, he worked for the bank. He was a federale. So they Pancho Villa went to their house, tore their house apart, tore up all the floorboards, looking to see if there was a basement or something. Like days after my grandmother's family went to El Paso, Texas to get away.
Way.
Yeah,
That's wild. Had they not moved, God knows what would have happened.
God knows what happened.
That's what's up.
Right? Like
Yeah.
cool history.
Very cool.
But yeah, so 1912.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So yeah, we've been making movies ever since then here, and I didn't realize how serious that was until, yeah, man, I must have been like 10 or 11. I went with some friends of my mom's that we met at NMSU. They had 2 kids. They took myself and my sister as kids. We go to White Sands, and there's this like fake house there, and they were shooting this movie called Tank Girl. Tank Girl, you ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
So it's the girl from Free Willy, and it's a sci-fi based on a comic book. And there was like these hybrid kangaroo things, and one of them was played by Ice-T.
What?
Yeah, man. So around that time in the 90s, that movie was filmed there. Boyz II Men had shot a music video there.
Tank Girl. It's got like the image is like she had the blue face with goggles on.
Yeah, man. It's a badass movie. Like,
Really?
definitely dated. Definitely.
Naomi Watts, Lori Petty, Malcolm McDowell. The only name I know is Ice-T.
It's a sick movie. I mean, it is a little dated, and I mean, I forgot Naomi Watts was the sidekick in that movie. But there,
She has like that bleached blonde, platinum blonde.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Lori Petty was the girl in the whale trainer in Free Willy.
Wow.
And then not long after that, yeah, they were shooting Tank Girl here in New Mexico, and I realized, oh, we make movies here. That's crazy.
I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna text that to myself to look it up.
Yeah, man.
Dude,
It's not the best movie, but it's a fun watch, and especially with Ice-T as a half a kangaroo, it's crazy.
I'm gonna hold on. I do this. I text myself. So watch Tank Girl.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely a B movie, but it's a fun watch.
There's a lot of history here.
A lot.
A lot of crazy history. Like I know a lot about like Las Cruces, Mexico,
Yeah,
and of the Valley.
Billy the Kid, all that.
Billy the Kid, World War II. I know where all the World War II camps were. They're
Fort Seldon.
the-
Or no, that
no,
was
like
before
World
that.
War II, like where they kept the German POWs.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we had German POWs here.
What?
You go down the street called Picacho Street.
Yeah.
There's the old barracks down there that are like apartments that used to be World War II prison camps.
The Adobe ones?
No, they're like by MacArthur Elementary, like a block away.
Man, I gotta look that
There
up.
was like 4 or 5, and then up the road here, there's a place called Airstrip Road, I think it is. Crazy haunted. They used to do like practice bombing here on the Mesa. They used to do practice bombing. Holloman Air Force Base
Yep.
used to be the fighter wing, because back then the bombers would fly. They'd have the fighter pilots that would protect them.
Yeah.
They were the fighter wing that was attached to the bomber group out of Briggs Air Force Base, which is now Fort Bliss.
Crazy.
Fort Bliss, which is on the east side of the mountains,
Yeah.
used to be on the west side of the mountains, right on the river, because they used to guard against the Mexicans, and they used to be within like an hour of Mesilla, Fort Mesilla, which was an hour or with a day. It used to be like you had to be within a day from each fort, from the Apache forts.
Yeah.
You had Fort Bliss, you had Fort Mesilla, you had Fort Seldon. There, matter of fact, if you go down to El Paso and you get off of Executive, there's apartments off of Executive. They're yellow. They're 2-story apartments right on the river, and they're apartments now. But they were the only 2 buildings that remained that were old barracks from the original Fort Bliss on the east side of the river, from when Fort Bliss used to be on the east side of El Paso.
Crazy.
There's like a little plaque there or something now, but yeah,
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that the country doesn't recognize us as a state. Keep the hell out. Stay away. Like, oh yeah, we're Mexico. Stay away.
No. Okay, so I'm dating this girl from Mexico.
Yeah.
And she has a little brother, and she said, he's always saying, like, we want Texas back. Like, you can't have Texas back. He goes, Americans stole Mexico or Texas. I was like, and then so I get with her and her friends, and I'm always like, wait. America didn't steal Texas. The Texas left Mexico. You guys had Texas. Texas left Mexico, then joined America.
Didn't Santa Ana sell that with California?
No.
No.
So Texas ceded from Mexico because they had like a very federalist constitution. They gave Texas certain rights regarding slavery, regarding religion and what have you. And Santa Ana, one day he said, "I'm done with it.
Son of a bitch.
You're gonna come in line with the rest of Mexico." And Texas said, "No, you gave us these rights."
Yeah.
So when in the movie The Alamo, they raise a flag that has the date 18 something on it, the date of the original Constitution, the Mexican Constitution. And so that was a big thing. Keep with the original Constitution with the rights you gave us. But Santa Ana said no, and so Texas ceded. And then, Texas became a state. They actually sold a part of their land to the United States for a while. Texas used to be bigger because they needed to make money. They were very poor. And so, and then later, Texas became a part of the Union.
And then became a republic.
Well, it became a republic first. Then it became a part of the Union. Was part of the Confederacy during the Civil War. And then the conspiracy theory says that we discovered gold in the Rockies and we wanted this part of the country for the gold. So Zachary Taylor went to war with Mexico for all this land because there was so much gold here. Because after the Mexican-American War, they found gold in the Rockies, the gold rush.
Right.
I mean, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But then they went to war with Mexico. What we did buy from Mexico was the Gadsden Purchase, which is actually where we are now.
Yep.
Because it's the lowest part of the Rockies. so trains could go to California without having to go through the Rockies.
Interesting.
So it was actually for the train. So you know where Alpam is, where the spaceport is.
Yeah.
That was like a major train connection because it splits the tracks from going like to east towards Texas and from going north to Chicago, and the trains would come down here, come underneath the Rockies, and go to California for the trade.
Interesting.
And so, like I say, a lot of history here. So we paid like $1 million for this land, which is not a lot right now, but back then in the 1800s,
It's like $1 billion. Yeah.
yeah, like $1 billion. But Santa Ana needed money because he was broke. He went to war and he's doing all this stuff. So he actually tried to sell us what would be considered the Gadsden Purchase and Baja Sur.
Órale.
But we didn't want Baja Sur. We only wanted this part of land right here for the train. Otherwise, we would have had the whole Baja, which would have been great.
Yeah.
That would have been like Southern California.
Strategically, it's an issue because the peninsula, you could get invaded from either coast.
Right. Well, Mexico's not going to invade us, but he wanted to sell that to us. Now, what's curious about the Mexican-American War, before we left, we were going to annex Mexico.
Oh, really?
It failed, and the annexation of Mexico into the United States as a whole failed by one vote.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, by one vote. Can you believe that? Like a little bit of history, but
Sure.
I mean, can you imagine if we would? I mean, there would be no Mexico now. We would be all the way down to the Yucatan, and all the people would be English speaking. Like the United States would be huge.
Yeah.
I mean, we took like a third of Mexico, but we were like that close to taking all of Mexico.
But we're the next best thing.
We're the next best thing.
New Mexico.
That's right.
Crazy.
And that's why I always tell her. I always tell this girl I'm dating. I was like, you leaving Mexico, you come into New Mexico.
Yep.
This is the new one.
It's
Like,
like,
welcome to America. I always tell her when I bring her to the bridge, get your hamburger and your gun. Welcome to America.
hey, they have good hamburgers in Juarez. They're like huge. The pinches tortas.
There's a place we go to down there where you get it's a bistro. Oh, what is it called? Oh man, and if I could find it right now, I will give them props.
Let's go down there.
Me and her, we like to go down there. It's a place where we get chilaquiles and pancakes. They make like a really good pancake there. If I could find it, Rocco Cafe Bistro and Bar in Juarez, Mexico. Juarez. And you know what? Okay, so here's Juarez, Mexico. For a while, there was the most dangerous place on earth.
Yep.
I go down there, and I'm dating this girl. We meet down there. I'm walking down the streets of Juarez. I'm laughing. And she goes, "What's so funny?" I go, "I would have never in all my years figured I'd be walking down the streets of Juarez." Juarez is an industrial town. It's dirty.
Yeah.
But I was like, I never figured I'd be just chilling, walking down the streets of Juarez. So we go down there. But so over a year ago, I met a girl down in Juarez. And I went on a date with her. And I met her on the day the cartels invaded Juarez.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
How'd you meet her? Like Tinder or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went down there, we went to Starbucks, we had dinner. And when we're having dinner, the waiters are getting freaked out. Like, hey, you guys need to hurry up. I'm like, oh, we're having a good time. Da-da-da. Chill out, dude.
Right.
And eventually I asked her, like, what's going on? Why are the waiters, like, trying to push us out? She goes, and she asked them, and she says, oh, like, on WhatsApp and everything? Because WhatsApp is big down. Like, in all of, like, Central and South America, WhatsApp. Everybody uses it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
In the
she's
Middle
like,
East, yeah.
And so she was like, the cartels are invading.
Yeah.
And everybody's trying to go home because the cartel is telling the businesses all to shut down. Juarez is a big city.
Mm-hmm.
And so so I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And so sure enough, the restaurant closes. It was at like it's called a place called El Centro. No, Misiones, which is like a nice part of Juarez. We're at the mall there, and there's a restaurant there. We're eating, and
Is that by like the Soriana and all that?
no, there's a number of Sorianas, but it's called Los Misiones. It's like a nice part of Juarez. There's like Starbucks, there's like IHOP, and
Applebee's?
yeah, Applebee's.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And she's like, everybody has to leave now. I was like, why? And like, eventually the waiter tells you have to cash out, you have to leave. And like, what's going on? Like, there's pickups with just random cartel guys with guns.
Jesus Christ.
Like driving up and down the streets. They've shot up like buses and da-da-da. They burned down a radio station. They burned down gas stations. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Mamones.
And so like none of the Ubers. Okay, so in 2022, the population of Juarez was 1.5 million. Pretty big town.
Huge.
Yeah. And so, so she's like, you can't get an Uber, you can't take a bus, you can't get a cab to the border because nobody wants to be on the road. Cartel has said, the cartel told everybody to go home.
So she's like, come back to my place.
Well, that's what I was telling you. So across the parking lot was a Holiday Inn. I was like, let's just go to the Holiday Inn. I'll get a room for us both. You know.
She was down?
No, she was like, no. She says, we can't go out there. I was like, we'll just run across the street to the Holiday Inn. She goes, the cartel is out there.
They were already there.
Yeah, she was like, you can't go out. She's like, you cannot go out. Like in the 20, 30 odd years I've been going to Juarez, never once have I seen it like this. Where it came
What year is this?
a year and a half ago.
Oh.
Like, no, not even a year and a half. Like maybe a little bit over a year ago.
Okay, so a little after the pandy.
And so we're sitting there at the mall in Los Misiones, and she says, we're both trying Uber. And finally, she gets an Uber, and the guy comes to the mall and picks her up. And she goes, hey, this is the neighborhood I live in. I live in a place called Los Torres. And he goes, I live there. I'll take you there. I'm on my way home.
Nice.
And so I'm like, oh, dude, can you just drop me off at the bridge on the way there? It's like kind of on the way, kind of on the way.
Right, yeah.
Like you have to go a little bit north, but you're there.
Yeah.
And he looks at me. I'm like, I'll give you $20. He's like, I give him $40. And he's like, dude, like the cartels. I just gotta go home. He's my dad's home. And then I was like, dude, here's $60. He goes, fine, get in. So we're driving, like the buses are driving in caravans because they don't want to drive alone.
Right.
And like the streets were like dead. I've never seen like Juarez dead, like ever.
Dude, that sounds like a horror movie.
And so he gets close to the bridge. He drops me off. I take off walking to the bridge, and she gets home, and I message her, and she's like, yeah, we're sleeping on the ground. I was like, why? She goes, the cartels are here.
Yeah, in case they shoot.
Yeah.
It goes over you.
Matter of fact, the second time that happened was just this last year when they had that riot at the prison in Mexico because there was a cartel leader there.
And they lit it up.
They lit it up. Like so many people were killed and all that stuff. But my first time back to Mexico was that night the cartels invaded Mexico in 2022.
Jesus. That's
Nuts.
crazy, man.
It's such so cool though. And everybody's freaking it out. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Dude, you're lucky. Seriously, that $60 was cheap. That was cheap. That guy
was freaking out. Freaking out.
She should have been like, oh yeah, you should come back to my house, but no, her pops was there.
No, her mom or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a good story. She was a beautiful woman, but I was like, yeah,
What are you gonna do?
It was the experience. It was cool.
Absolutely.
It was cool. So real fast before it gets any later, speaking of dangerous places and all that, Israel.
Yeah.
So let me preface this. So it's been a week. It's literally been a week.
8 days, yeah.
Yeah. So things went off last Saturday. Like today's the 15th. Last Saturday was
The 7th.
the 7th. Yeah, no. The 14th. So
Yesterday.
I'm sorry. No, the 7th. You're right. 7th. You're right. So on the 7th, I wake up at 5 in the morning because of my alarm. And 5 in the morning, I'm getting video. So I have all these Telegram groups from Ukraine. And I get live videos from soldiers in the field in Ukraine. Shit you don't see on YouTube. You don't see in the news.
Right.
Soldiers being like UCs.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like drones dropping bombs on Russian soldiers. And you see these soldiers limping away without a leg.
Jesus Christ.
Trench fighting. You see the Ukrainians, they have GoPros. You see them fighting in the trench. You see it
it's like World War I and World War III merged.
Yes.
It's crazy.
So on the same Telegram groups I have one for Mexico too. But
you gotta tell me these groups. I want to jump on, man.
One's called The Observer, but at 5 in the morning I start getting videos and pictures from Israel. 5 in the morning. which I don't know. Let's see. We're Mountain Time. Let's see. Israel time.
Yeah, they're like 7 or 8 hours ahead of us.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So right now it's 8 in the morning in Israel. Right now.
And it's 11:20 here.
Yeah. So that's like 12. That's 9 hours.
Yeah.
So 5 in the morning, that would have been like 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 2 in the afternoon. By 2 in the afternoon, their time, I'm being flooded with pictures and videos like 5 in the morning. And I remember like looking at it, like, the fuck is, like in the morning, I'm so incognizant. I'm like, what is this?
And this is like maybe like 4 or 5 hours because from what I understand, at the music festival, they got attacked at about 8 or 9 in the morning.
What time? Let's see. Let's see what Google says.
What time did
Hamas
attack the music festival?
Did Hamas attack Israel? Let's see here. 3:30
AM or PM?
p.m. It says p.m.
Really, that late?
What time did the Hamas attack Israel? This NPR's. I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at the abstract. I'm not looking in there. But by 5 in the morning, I'm getting all this stuff, and so I go back to bed. And I wake up like at 7, and there's more, and I'm like, "What the fuck's going on?" So like at 7, 7 o'clock, I start Googling. I'm like, Hamas attacked Israel, and this is big. What the hell? And so,
fuck you, Hamas.
every day I get pictures. Like 2 days ago, there's a town like east of Gaza. And I got all these pictures from this little town. And there's bodies burnt. And there's people shot in the head. There's people decapitated. People dead in their homes. And there's even one video of a kid. A little kid. Like little kid. Burnt to a crisp. And I'm like, what the hell? Like every day this comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing to read something in the news and to hear the pundits talk about it and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start getting like all these pictures and things on your phone, you're like, what the hell?
Right. Like I see a lot of these people who are like, "Oh, pray for Israel, pray for." It's like, dude, have you seen
like
what the fuck is going on?
Like, and not the blurry images and not the rockets launching, because the rocket launching doesn't show it. But once you're like seeing like Israeli soldiers without heads because they were like mutilating the bodies.
220 soldiers, bro.
But it's like over 1,000 people now that were killed.
Yeah, I think we're up to like 1,500.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And every day I get these freaking pictures in. Like every freaking day I get more. Like once the Israelis started getting control of the area,
yeah,
I just started getting all these pictures in. And I'm like,
bro, this is the largest mass killing since the Holocaust.
And like people just like trying to get away, trying to drive away. Like this one says footage of the route. Oh, so this one right here. This is a picture, a video. A reporter was on the Lebanese border because Hezbollah is in Lebanon,
right,
launching rockets, and that's a picture of a reporter. His car got hit by a rocket. Half of his body's gone.
Bro, that doesn't even look like a person.
Half, like from his torso down, it's gone. And matter of fact, if you keep watching this video,
that looks like Juarez, bro.
If you watch this video, somebody walks up to the reporter's body and they lay the leg right next to him
to complete him.
Yeah,
bro. So he blew in half over a wall,
and somebody finds his leg and they lay it right next to him. Like,
God bless it.
Like, this is the kind of shit I've been getting. So, like,
yeah, maybe I don't want to follow those groups,
dude. Like, okay, so the Mexican ones, I've seen videos where they skin people alive. They're skinning people alive, screaming.
Did you see the one like 3 years ago where they caught the pedophile and like cut his dick off?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just wild.
There was a cartel guy. They called him the Ghost Rider. His name was the Ghost Rider. So an opposing cartel catches him.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the names because this is like a year, 2, 3 years ago. And so they tell him, "Oh, you're the Ghost Rider." Okay. So they douse his head in gasoline and light it on fire.
Holy Johnny Blaze.
And he screams and screams. And they show this screaming.
Tag me, bro.
Until he stops screaming.
Yeah, he's done.
And they pour more gas on his face. And I don't know if at that point, like, say the nerve endings burn off or something.
Sure.
And they just keep pouring gas on his head.
Did he start screaming again?
No. At that point, no. He was done.
He's done. His brain fried out
Like,
and hit inside of his skull.
It's weird because there's videos of guys. They're like, we're going to kill you. And these guys are just like sitting there like, okay.
We're done. Yeah.
Like it's weird because there's like an acceptance of it. It's like, all right, you got us. We're dead.
Right.
We're dead. And they like line these guys up and they kill them. And like they kill the first guy and the second guy's like, the second guy doesn't even fight it. He's just like.
Imagine you're on Salvia and that happens. Bro,
that's where I would want to be.
Right. Yeah.
But these guys aren't on anything. And
right.
they like had all three of them and they were like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And they kill the first guy and the second guy's okay. And they take him, they kill him. He didn't fight or anything. They just killed him.
Imagine being the third guy watching the first two.
But he doesn't do anything. He's just like, it's like a sense of acceptance and the stuff they do to the women.
It's like extreme submission.
It's
pure
extreme
submission.
It's like an extreme form of acceptance. You did wrong and you know your life is over and you're like, okay. And so then you're watching, like I've seen videos of the Israeli. So there's a video. So they have the captured video of Hamas. There's a video from Hamas where they're like rows and rows of porta potties. And people are hiding in the porta potties.
Oh my god.
So the guys walk up to the porta potties. They're like 3 or 4 guys. And they go to every porta potty. Brrrah. Go to the next one. Brrrah. Next one. Brrrah. And there's like a building where like a bunch of kids at that concert, like 20, 30 kids are hiding in a room. And then the next video, they're all bloodied. Yeah, the grenade. One person has his knee on the outside of his leg,
Jesus
and and it shows the screaming, and you're like, what the fuck?
That's not human, man.
Like it's not human.
We need to eradicate that completely.
There's a guy called Ryan Macbeth on YouTube. He's like he does like a lot of intelligence work and like
I'll write that down.
Like intelligence work. He just does a lot of intelligence work.
I'm not allowed to say his last name as an actor, but
Ryan Macbeth, he does intelligence work, and if you click on his feed, he has it's called the online Substack. So the things he can't show on YouTube, you click on his website you can go to, and he breaks everything down.
Do you have to pay for that? Is like a Patreon?
It's free.
Oh shit.
He does have a Patreon, but it's free. And it's
imagine what the Patreon looks like.
Oh, I don't like the stuff I've seen already. It's like I can't imagine being any worse.
And this has been a week.
A week.
This is a week. It's hell on earth, Mark.
Like you're watching when you see that many. I mean, like I don't blame Israelis for that level of anger.
Yeah, until you start killing kids.
Well, Israeli kids are being killed. They're being killed, burnt, and beheaded.
Sure.
Children and women.
It's fucked up, but 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Right.
Is my stance.
So, and here's something I've really thought about. Like Gaza. Israeli was putting money into Gaza. They're putting people to work. They were giving them passes to go to work in Israel, to be able to make money.
Right. They were at peace for a long time.
They were at peace for a long time. But you still had Hamas. And as a matter of fact, like this is my take on it, is like I truly believe 99% of the people Hamas, and this is something me and Jeanette talk about.
Palestinians or Hamas?
Palestinians,
right.
in the Gaza Strip.
Right.
My thought of it is this: 99% of the people in Gaza,
right,
in relation to what me and Jeanette talk about when we're on here, they want to go to work.
Right.
They want to come home. They want to watch their kids grow.
They want to kiss their families.
They want to kiss their families. And then you have this 1% of the group, which is probably like around 2,000 to 3,000 people.
They're just angry.
That do something so so abhorrent, so
atrocious,
so inhumane to Israel's. and they're going to the towns and they're shooting people and they're mutilating the bodies,
Kidnapping women.
There's kidnapping women. There's women, and Ryan Macbeth on the Substack talks about this. He goes, you watch this woman come out of a vehicle. She's bound. She's obviously a prisoner of war. There's blood all over her sweatpants from her butt.
Mm-hmm.
So you know these guys have been raping her like hell.
Yep.
And it's like, what the hell? And so you have the 99% of Palestinians which want to live their life, which want to be free, which I think the rest of the world wants them to have a normal life and be free.
Yep.
But you have this 2,000 to 3,000 guys that say, to hell with all of you. We're going to do this. And so now the cycle starts all over again. So do I blame the Israelis for wanting to go crazy and just level them all? No. The stuff that happened to all these people is the worst.
Right.
Do I like if somebody did that to my family?
Oh yeah, we're cutting people's heads off.
And I'm not talking.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about my third cousin. I'm not even talking about somebody I don't know in California. I'm talking to like
Mom's
my
and sister.
niece, sisters, nephews, cousins, like the people I know right here. If somebody did that to them, oh fuck yeah,
Yeah,
in a heartbeat.
We're torching you with the fucking iron.
And a matter of fact, you know what the number one Google flight was this week?
Israel.
The number one Googled flight out of New York, Las Vegas, LA, Dallas, all the major cities was to Israel.
If you want to go fight, that's justified.
It's justified. Now, the 99% of the Gazans that want to live a normal life and just want to watch their family grow old and be together, they're going to pay the price.
That's so fucking rough, man, because it's like, all right.
And here's the comparison. Something to think about. The Russians invaded Ukraine. They're deporting children and to brainwash them and do whatever they're going to do to the children.
Yeah.
They're raping women. They're killing like people, like anybody. Nobody's saying like, "Oh, how dare Ukraine?" Everybody's pumping money and arms and everything to Ukraine.
100 billion.
What Russia is doing to Ukraine is no less is wrong. But now what you're seeing is people like, well, should Israel do this? But look what happened.
It's a shift on in our attention, most definitely.
Oh, yeah.
How much have you heard about Ukraine in the last week?
Like nothing this week.
Nothing. But shit's going down.
Shit's hitting the fan. Yeah.
So I sat down and talked to a friend of mine on Monday who as far as I know, he's a big old history buff. I'd like to bring him on here if possible.
Dude, let me know when you want to.
Yeah. I mean,
because you know what my thought about this whole Israel thing is? They're both victims of history, and they don't let it go.
They are. It's a trickle-down effect.
Yeah.
Like, this is all, it's biblical, man.
So you can bring it to modern history, to World War I, and then World War II. The British and the League of Nations got involved with Palestine in World War I because they needed the Arabs and the Israelis and everybody to fight the Ottoman Empire.
Yep.
They made a lot of promises during World War I. Then World War II happened. The British had no interest in being involved anymore. So the Israelis, that's when the Israelis came in and they made Israel their home. The Palestinians were there. But that's not the start of it. That's just modern history.
Right.
I mean, I was telling my friend, the Romans put down a massive Israeli uprising. The Persians took all the Israelis to Persia.
Yeah.
Like, Israelis left the Middle East to Egypt for whatever reasons they did. And when they came down, they had to fight the Philistines.
Yep.
So, like, these are two peoples that are a product of their history, and they're imprisoned by their history.
Dude, it's crazy. It's written in the past and in
Right.
the future if you look at Revelation.
Oh, absolutely. Right. And we were just talking about this.
Yeah.
Like the signs in the sky, the eclipse, and what does it all mean? And like right now, we are living these times of when you see the signs in the sky, the sun, the moon, the stars falling, you can apply it so many different ways, and that the people of Earth will suffer through turmoil.
Yep.
And that's what's happening.
That's exactly what's happening.
It's exactly what happened. And I don't know if we've seen the end of it. I don't know if we've seen the most of it. I don't know if we've seen the worst of it.
We're just getting started, man. It's fucking crazy. So what my friend and I, we've broken down is essentially looking at the map that's been written through World War I and World War II.
Right.
And we're trying to theorize and figure out what do the next 5 to 10 years look like. So World War III, essentially, according to what we've conjured up, this isn't fact, is World War III will be, so World War II were the axis of evil and the axis of power. 3 major countries versus 3 major countries and everyone else who followed behind them. World War III will be 5 countries versus 5 countries.
So if you think about Revelations, because this talks about the beast from the east,
Yep.
the bear from the north, and I don't know what other nations, they all kind of come down in the Middle East. But it's like you could specifically point out Russia and you could specifically point out China.
Yep.
For sure.
The north is Russia, the east is China.
Yeah. But the way they describe it specifically leads to those countries.
So the way we've broken it down is the 5 different countries that are going to be fighting each other that the other countries will follow behind will be Russia, Ukraine, Israel versus Palestine, the
You
U.S.
said-
versus China,
Okay.
North Korea versus South Korea, and
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia versus Iran.
Yeah.
Those will be the big 5 versus
You know, it's
5.
funny you said Korea because I was just watching the last Red Dawn movie.
The new one,
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth.
And it was about Korea invading the United States.
Yeah.
Korea can't invade the United States. They have the manpower, but they don't have the technology. They don't have the transportation. They don't have the planes.
No.
All they have is the missiles and the soldiers. And the artillery. If they decide to invade the South, they would level Seoul in an hour.
Right. So what we figured so far is those other countries will go hand to hand. And strangely enough, within the past week, Saudi Arabia and Iran have not been in talks. They don't get along with each other.
Well,
But they've been talking. Within the
Tehran
last-
just came out this like today or yesterday saying Israeli needs to like slow the roller essentially.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. So everyone else, aside from the U.S. and China, are going to be hand-to-hand missiles and whatnot. What we don't realize is after COVID, China is essentially started a war with us with essentially fucking up the dollar.
Well, we're in a trade war. We've been in a trade war with China.
And they're winning. They're winning.
I don't know if they're winning.
Dude, everything's made in China. How are they not winning?
Okay,
Plastics.
So China is at the cusp of a massive population collapse. They are at a they don't. Okay, so and I brought this up on our last podcast, but it recently came out that China's population against unemployment with young adults is so bad that they decided to stop counting it.
Yep.
They figured the issue is so bad, let's just stop counting it and it's not an issue.
Right.
The population is aging at a rate lower than Japan because Japan has a bad population issue because there's so many people that are so old they're not making enough babies to pay essentially be able to afford to pay for care for old people. China's, and I don't have my old notebook because I retired it last week. China is like at 1 point something, which is the lowest in the world. Essentially, they do not have the population going into the workforce to be able to pay for any of their old senior services.
Killing the girls is backfiring on them.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. And even though China went away from the one-child policy a long time ago, they went to a two-child policy, and then they just kind of said, have kids. Nobody's doing it anymore.
Right.
And this whole thing with Apple's going to be pulling out of China. The Apple's actually eyeing India now. Like, China is in such a world of hurt right now. And who's the chairman of China right now? It's
Xi.
Xi. Xi is in such a mess right now. If he invades Thailand right now, he would just do it for the sake of trying to save face. That's all he can do now.
Right. They're not going to do that, is what we conjured up. It would be too costly for them to go.
No political
physically.
will. No will at all.
So
None.
it's easier for them to fuck up the dollar,
Yeah.
bring that down, which is already happening via Amazon
and
other companies.
And the second largest real estate holding company in China. I don't have the name of it because I had it last week. They just missed their second payment. Well, as of like a week or two ago, they missed their second payment.
And
because
who are we indebted to?
their second payment is to bonds, American bonds,
Right.
that they used to pay for their expansion. Matter of fact, the real estate market it blew up so much, and it's getting ready for such a crash because there's nobody to rent anymore.
Right.
They have so much open real estate in terms of apartments and buildings and all that. They can house the entire population of China in the open real estate times 2.
Right. And
That's how much open real estate they have,
You've
and they
seen-
don't know what to do with.
China's actually buying up a lot of land here in the U.S.
Right. And there are actually congressmen right now trying to pass bills to prevent them from doing so now.
It's not going to work. It's too late.
It'll-
The ball has been rolling.
It may be too late, but I think that might gain more traction though.
So the theory is among those countries that I mentioned, we're going hand to hand.
Yeah.
Missiles between China and the U.S. They're buying our land.
Yeah.
They're reducing the dollar. So his theory is. So I asked him. So what do you think would be the next step? Are they going to invade via California or Alaska? And he said no. The move is to release an EMP, fuck up our energy.
Oh, yeah.
And shut everything down. And I think that kind of leads to why this current administration is going towards solar power.
Right. But even solar power, and then we talked about this, it's not the end all.
It's not.
There's not enough solar power in place. Even though solar power has gotten better, it's not the silver bullet. It's not.
But they're treating it like that. Like they're trying to make the state of Mexico, I believe, by 2035 is supposed to be 50%.
We're not going to make it though. We're not going to make it though.
No, we're
there's
not.
no way.
There's no way.
So in our last podcast, we talked about like energy, and my main thing is like Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the technology in Star Trek we've already done. Communicators. I mean, teleporters. Obviously, we can't. But a lot of that stuff we're already there.
Right.
Except the energy, because they had the reactors.
Yeah.
They're energy reactors.
Like a flux capacitor or something.
Something.
Yeah.
We haven't invented that. And I was telling this to the Fobs and to Jeanette, I was like, where's the next energy at? Because we're still banking on 150-year-old energy. That even though it's gotten better, but that's it.
It's cobalt.
It's cobalt. Mm-hmm. We have yet to discover the next energy that's going to transition us from fossil fuels to whatever the fuel is in the future. It hasn't been discovered yet. And until we discover that next major form of energy, we're going to be stuck in whatever we're stuck in right now.
Right.
And wind power and solar, we're trying to get there and da-da-da. It's not the save-all.
We're behind.
It's not there yet.
Yeah.
And in Florida, when they were trying to people were evacuating Florida because of the hurricane.
Right.
And there's all these lines on the highway and all that. Mm-hmm. What was happening? You had people in electric cars. The batteries were dying.
Yep.
And if there's no more power in Florida because they shut down all the power lines because of a hurricane, what are these people with these electric cars supposed to do?
We should have made solar vehicles a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. A long time ago. We should have invested in so much that our technology should be way beyond. But we are still stuck in a fossil-fueled economy. We're still there. We haven't left yet. We haven't left it yet, and it's. I don't think we're gonna transition from fossil fuels, from solar, from anything until we discover the next energy, and I don't know when that's gonna be. Like Scotty, I'm giving her all she's got. You know what I mean, yeah. Captain. But I don't think. I think fossil fuels is going to be. Fossil fuels will be the part of it. I think fossil fuels will get us will maintain us till we're there. But fossil fuels is not our forever energy, not to make us to the next civilization, to the next major leap. There has to be a new energy source that we haven't discovered. And my example was Kuiper crystals. Like lifesavers, the Kuiper crystals.
Yeah.
And they use that for the Death Star, for the big, the big ray out of the Death Star.
Yeah.
We just haven't discovered it yet.
Does baby girl need to go out?
She just wants attention. She wants attention. She's like, Mark,
I wish she could come in here, but there's like too much shit to knock over.
And she jumps. She'll like want to jump. She'll be, my little poodle will be jumping up and down, and she'll be like, oh, hey, dude. This Israeli thing's a mess, though. And you know what? I think Israeli, because of what happened, I think the Israelis are going to go in and they're going to do what they should have done a long time ago. Wipe out these Hamas guys. Because the PLO and Arafat in the 90s, Arafat's been fighting the Israelis for like ever.
Yeah.
And even when he was an old man, he was at a point where he was like, he was done fighting. He was trying to create peace with the Israels. He knew peace is the only way.
Right.
But then you had Hamas. And Hamas didn't believe in Arafat. He's like, oh, you're giving in to their lies. You're doing this. Da, da.
You can't coexist. No. They're complete extremists.
But even Arafat, who was the leader of the PLO, even he said there has to be peace. That's the only way. That's the only way.
It's not written in the Bible, man.
But you know what, though? But the 99% of the Palestinians, they're going to work. They're trying to live their life.
They're like us.
It's only that extremist.
Mm-hmm.
And I
angry.
think, and I was listening to the news. I listened to Gravitas. It's called WEON. It's out of India, and they're talking about it. They're like, well, Netanyahu's political career is over because he let it happen on his watch.
Right.
But before he leaves, he's going to wipe out Hamas. He's going to be the one that wipes out Hamas.
It's crazy to see a lot of Israelis speak out against him. They're like, fuck you, you ruined our country. Like, this is all your fault. And it's like, dude, it's really a left and right thing.
It really is. Like an extreme left and right thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm curious to see what's going to happen over the next week. But
on Tuesday, I saw that there's like this politician. I don't know if she was like a governor or what. She's like going to the hospitals and they're like, get the fuck out of here. You ruined our country. It's crazy.
Even Palestinians were speaking out like these people in Hamas did this to us.
Yep. They're
like,
victims, dude.
They're the people of Hamas, the Palestinians are actually victims too of Hamas. But
what's tripping me out? All right, so we've spoken mostly factual and historical.
Ooh.
I'm going to go down the conspiracy hole a little bit.
Okay, I'm ready for this. I want to hear this.
So I think it's kind of crazy. Like, there are a lot of Israelis who are talking about, okay, so at the festival, there was no Israeli army to be seen. And they're within 3 miles of Gaza.
Right.
So very much like...
What's the conspiracy? Because I've heard about that, like where they move soldiers because of, what's going on in Israel with all this new stuff that they passed. People weren't happy about it. What's the conspiracy theory? I'm curious about this.
So they're calling it their 9/11. And in
Right.
9/11, our conspiracy is that there were a lot of...
The government did it.
The government did it. There were a lot of people who didn't go to work on that day because they kind of got noticed. They knew that something was going to happen. So I think the similarity there, and I'm not saying that this is truth at all, but one thing that is factual and what the people on the ground in Israel are saying, that there was no army to be seen, that they were able to cross the line and go attack that festival, and that there was no problem. The one argument that I will give them is that they managed to take 220 Israeli soldiers and behead them. So, they were completely fucking ambushed. But at that music festival, like, you look at the video and there's no one protecting them.
There's no one.
And
they were right there, not far from Gaza.
Three miles.
The festival.
3 miles away.
That's like them having a festival in Ukraine, not far from the front lines with Russia.
During a Jewish holiday.
During a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And this Jewish holiday is important because that's the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur, or the 6-Day War.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that says a lot.
Yeah, and it wasn't the there's 2 intelligence agencies there's the military one, and then there's like the Homeland Intelligence that should have been keeping an eye on the Hamas.
And it's like they turned a blind eye, and it was like, okay, someone. It's kind of like seeing the cartels come through. There's some suit somewhere who's making money off letting the cartels come through.
Well,
someone is benefiting off of letting Hamas go into Israel. And if you go look at Lockheed Martin's stocks, they were going down. They were decreasing within the last 3 months.
So there's the Mossad, which is like the foreign intelligence, but there's another intelligence. It starts with I don't want to say Yakuza because I know that's Japanese mafia.
Yeah.
but there's some. It's something like that. What's the other name of it? I'm going to type in what are the, because they're blaming the other intelligence. What are the two intelligence?
That reminds me. So apparently the Israelis had intelligence that this was going to happen, and they didn't do anything.
From the Egyptians, and
Yes.
we had it too.
And we had it too, and we
nobody
didn't do
listened.
anything. Very much like
Yes.
9/11,
The Shabak,
the Shabak.
internal security,
Never heard of them.
Shimbat.
So there was intel that this was going to happen, and no security was increased.
That Egypt reached out to the Netanyahu people, and they didn't pay attention.
And that's what brings me to my next point. So did you see where Israel bombed within the past week that wasn't Palestine?
No.
So they bombed the bridge between Gaza and Egypt so that no one could cross over. And they also
it's not
bombed
a bridge, but it's like a
crossing,
border crossing.
like a border
essentially.
cross. They bombed the shit out of that, and then they bombed 2 Syrian airports.
Syrian, because I know that they're firing artillery into Lebanon, but Hezbollah is based in Lebanon, and the Hezbollah fires to the Israeli side.
Yeah, they got to go too. They're not far from Hamas.
And now you have, like I say, Tehran telling Israelis they better not go into Gaza.
Yet they're not. So what's interesting about that, being half Persian myself,
Really, half Persian.
Yeah, I'm half. My dad was from Iran, and my mom's from Chihuahua.
Really?
They met in English class at NMSU.
No way. Whoa.
She thought he was Mexican, and he thought she was Persian. Cause
How funny is
we
that?
look alike.
Like people from the Middle East and like say people from like Latin America, like the skin color, the eyes, and everything.
I have a theory for that. So it's because the Moors took over Spain.
Yes.
And then once the whole... have you ever seen that movie, City of God? Or
Yes.
City of Heaven?
Yes.
So you had a lot of interracial mixing,
Yeah, absolutely.
and the Moors mixed in with them. So you have kind of a mestizo mix there.
What? Okay, 1492. What happened in 1492? Columbus. He landed on Cuba, Hispaniola, discovered the Americas.
Right. Thinking it's India.
Yeah. And then what else happened in 1492? The French and the English made a peace treaty. The English gave up all the French lands except Calais, but they came in a peace treaty. 1492, the Spanish defeated the last caliph, the last emirate in Spain.
Pushed them out.
Pushed them out completely. In 1492, the Jewish were driven out of Spain due to the Reconquista. The whole thing about Spain and the Jewish and the S and the Z and all that happened in 1492.
Damn, Spain was on fire that year.
They were on fire that year.
Yeah.
A new family took charge of Rome in 1492. I don't remember the names specifically. And one more thing happened, but a lot happened in 1492. And somebody was speaking about this, and he says, "What do you remember about 1492?"
Columbus.
Because it changed the world. What's happening now that's going to change the world that we're going to remember in 200 years, 400 years, 500 years? Do you think we'll remember like this specific battle? I don't know.
I think we will. We have to, because
I don't think so.
you know? You think it'll get washed in like the way that did?
Yeah. Like, okay, you think about like the French and the English fighting, big fighting. The French and English, they were like World War fighting. When we talked about like the French and Indian War, was like a World War.
We remember that. Why not?
But
we remember the
it's not big though.
Dutch India Company.
No, but I mean, we know about it in history, but it's like not big.
Right.
Christopher Columbus big, American Revolution big, Napoleon, French Revolution, Spanish Reconquista.
I mean, we remember the establishment of the U.S., but that's because we're Americans.
We're Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ask a UK person what was significant about 1776, they're probably not going to be able to tell you.
I couldn't tell you what else. Anything else in 1776? I don't know. What I do know as a result of the American Revolution was the idea spread to France. French went bankrupt over bankrolling the American Revolution. When then the monarchy was overthrown, he lost his head. Napoleon changed all of Europe because Napoleon, even though he invaded countries, his set of laws and law stuff he did is still in effect today. He codified a lot of things back then that affect us now.
Yeah.
Went to Russia, lost most of his army.
Well, he got swallowed up there, right?
Oh yeah,
Isn't that where he died? He died in the snow.
No. He died on not. So he went to Corsica first, then he returned to Corsica to France. The French king sent the army to go meet him on the road to Paris. They joined every time the king of France sent somebody to go stop Napoleon. They ended up joining him. Yeah, right.
Wow. How frustrating was that?
Oh yeah, and so eventually he came back. He gained control. He then Waterloo. Was it St. Helena out in the Atlantic Ocean, middle of nowhere?
He was emperor. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I want to see that Joaquin Phoenix movie, Napoleon. I haven't seen it
Dude,
yet.
have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I have.
Dude, that shit looks crazy.
But you know, Hollywood takes a lot of
Liberties?
liberties. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool that it's a history movie. I'm curious to see it, but they do take a lot of his liberties. They
Yeah.
do. They got to make it good.
They got to joker it up.
They do. But I'm curious to see what's going to happen because I feel bad for the Israelis for what happened. And if it was me, if I were Israeli, and that was my family, my friends, and everybody knew,
You'd be angry.
I'd be angry.
Yeah.
But also, 99% of the Palestinians in Gaza, okay, let's say on the other side, maybe it's only 80%.
Yeah.
But 80% of the people, they just want to watch their families grow. They want their kids to grow up.
Dude, even half. And
Half. Yeah, even half.
just the fact that, like, what happened 3 days ago, they're like, okay, you guys have an opportunity to get out of here. We want to kill Hamas. They
Yeah.
gave them maps and told them to head south,
So-
and then started attacking them.
Was it Ryan Macbeth or it's there's another analysis I follow. I can't think of his name. It's a guy that was in the army and he's bald. I can't think of his name.
Is it Jocko?
No.
Okay.
One of them was saying that 24-hour thing, Israelis never gave them 24 hours. They just said leave. They said you need to leave the north part of Gaza. We're going to attack. But there was never any 24-hour guideline given or deadline given by the Israelis.
What if the Israelis gave those people an opportunity to leave and Hamas started killing their own people to make it look like Israelis did it?
That is believable.
They would do that.
They would do it.
Fucking terrorists.
The fact that they're telling their people not to leave, knowing that the Israelis are going to come in with tanks.
So I believe Hamas wants the people to stay there.
I think
so
so,
that
too.
there's a higher
Well,
death
the
rate.
human shields. They use human shields. Hands down, they do. They're real sons of bitches.
They're the worst. They're angry.
I have nothing negative to say about Palestinians.
Same.
I don't know any.
I know a couple.
But people that want to live free and live with their families, everybody has a right to do so. But, I mean, I don't know what happened in 1912, 1935, or when the Romans were there.
Yeah.
But the Israelis are there now. And they have a right to exist too. Palestinians have the right to exist.
They do.
They
but
both do.
Genocide is hypocritical for them, especially within the last 50 years.
Oh,
to
yeah.
do the exact same thing to the Palestinians that the Germans did to the Jews, I mean, I know a lot of people would consider that anti-Semitic, but where does the hypocrisy
It
end?
would have to be a dual state country or like some sort of unity country because it's the same land. There has to be. There's no other way. There's no other way.
If it were up to me, we just split everything halfway, and the
But
border
you can't-
is monitored by the UN.
Because you know why? Jerusalem is claimed by the Christians, by the Israelis, and by the Islam. And
Right.
which of the three religions came first? Judaism, Christianity, or Islam? Which came first?
Judaism,
Judaism. What
Yeah.
came second?
Christianity,
Christianity. That's
Mm-hmm.
right. And then 800 years later, what came next?
Muhammad. Yeah,
I mean, and this is not bullshitting or anything like that.
Sure.
But it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, history aside, let's not be a captive to history. We're all here now.
yeah.
There has to be a way. We're all human beings. We all have families. We want to see our kids grow up and just have a normal life and have kids. There has to be a way. And again, Do I blame the Israelis for wanting to just kill every single Hamas guy? Not at all.
Not really, no.
And the poor Palestinians that are in the way, that's horrible. Because they're the ones that are going to suffer. Now, Israelis have been giving them aid. We're giving them electricity, water. We're giving them passes to go to work. I think a good faith effort was made. I think they were trying to make a good faith effort until this happened.
Hamas stained it. I'm convinced that it was
Hamas
Hamas killing their own
Whoever
people.
these guys were, like all 1,500, 2,000, whatever it is, they fucked it up for everybody.
They're like, you're going to stay here and die with us, or you're going to leave and we're going to kill you. That seems like a terrorist mindset.
It's almost like the rest of the 2 million Palestinians that are there should just be like, hey, these are them. This is them. You know what?
Dude, honestly, they should try to like uprise and fight Hamas on their own.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do when you're a baker or...
you don't have a gun.
You
have the guy with a machine gun and you don't have a gun. That's what it comes down to.
And then how are you supposed to go to Israel and be like, hey, man, we want to help you. Like, we want to help you beat these terrorists. There's no trust there.
It's horrible. It's such a vicious cycle that there's not going to be a resolution to it this year.
No, this is going to go on for a few years.
And you talk about the revelations like you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know when revelations started coming true? When did revelations start becoming true?
9/11?
No. When the Israelis returned to their homeland. That was like the first sign of revelation. I mean, I'm not a biblical scholar and all that, but if I remember correctly, the Israelis returning to their homeland was like the first major flag of revelations.
The creation of the Israeli nation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Backed by the UK.
Yeah. Well, the UK, because World War II ended and they just didn't have any more. They just didn't want to fight anymore. They were done. They were just done.
Dude, London got bombed the way Gaza did. Yeah.
So they did not have the political will to throw more Englishmen into Israel, Palestine, whatever it was at then, to like fight and force the peace. They were just done. Like what, 100 million people died in World War II? Estimate, like some estimates are 70, 60, some are like 120, but somewhere in the middle, 100 million people died in World War II. England didn't have the political will to keep the peace in Israel anymore, and that vicious cycle started at the end of World War I with the League of Nations trying to divide up the Middle East. But as a result of it, we are all the people in the Middle East are prisoners to their history, and they just can't seem to get beyond it.
No, I mean, there's a old ass grudge there. Like, it's like, oh, we can't forget.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is what happened to Grandma. And it's like, bro, we're here now. Grandma's dead. Like, relax.
Right.
Then my conspiracy mind comes in. And it's like, okay, COVID, we got rid of a lot of people. Now World War III, we're getting rid of people.
But you know what? For a pandemic, we didn't lose like a lot of people. We're not talking like Spanish flu pandemic.
We didn't, but a World War III would help kind of. If you lose that much life, it brings down global warming, doesn't it?
I think World War II or World War III. I mean, we're at like 7 billion, 8 billion now, close to 8 billion. I don't know what the current. I used to keep up with this.
We're like 8.5.
World population 2023 8.045 billion.
It's a lot. Wow. Last I checked, before the pandemic, we were approaching 9 billion, and that's gone down significantly.
I don't know. I just don't think a population. There's a thing called the population clock, and it shows you
everyone born at the minute,
and how many people are dying.
Yeah.
Like let me see if I can pull it up real fast. Okay, the population is 8,000,000,004,000,000, and here's the world population clock going up: 71, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how fast the population's going up. So, one birth every 9 seconds, one death every 11 seconds, one international migrant every 32 seconds. Okay, top 10 most populous countries. And I gave this to Jeanette, but I'm going to give it to you real fast. Top 3 populations I see, I gave it to you already. And that's still straight on. Who do you think the number 4th populated country is?
So top 3 would be China, U.S.
No. I just told you. China.
It's not Russia. It's not us. It's China. Damn, I don't remember.
India.
Oh,
India's
right.
number 2.
Of course.
And then the U.S.
Really?
Right. And you know why I think we're number 3? Because our country was not invaded during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Russia lost like 90 million people in World War II. So that sets their population way back.
Right.
Which they've kind of haven't recovered from yet. Okay, so number 3 is United States. Let's see.
Who's 4?
Hold on. I have number 4 here. Let me pull up the top 10 because this is off the world clock. Top 10 populated countries. Okay, here we go. Top 10 most populated countries. All right. So again, China is 1.4 billion. India is 1.3 billion. So they're actually kind of neck and neck. The U.S. is 330 million. Okay. Number 4, any clue? I don't think you would guess this one, actually.
I want to say North Korea.
Indonesia.
No shit.
200 million. They're actually not 270 million, followed by Pakistan. So let's see. Let me look for a country that you would recognize, like Brazil. Where do you think Brazil falls?
6?
6. Where do you think Russia falls?
8?
9th. Where do you think Mexico falls?
12?
10th most populous country.
Really?
And we're talking Russia is only 140 million. That's half the U.S. Mexico's only 128 million. So that's closer to the Russia, less than half of the United States. Like, what the hell? Like, you know what I mean? That kind of puts it in context. Like, United States, big country, a lot of work, a lot of people wanting work, a lot of people that still American dream wanting to come here. India, I think I've known about India for a long time. China, what surprised me, I think, the most was Russia. Russia is the number 9th most populated. For like Russia, like the evil empire, like conquering the world, World War III and all.
Largest landmass.
But they have less than half the people we do. But then again, they lost like 90 million people during World War II, which would explain why they're so down and they haven't recovered from. Because when Mongolia, and let me pull this up real fast. Mongolia invaded Baghdad. I can't type right now. When did the Mongolians invade Baghdad?
You know Nicorette?
I know, right?
That's weird. That wore off already. That's crazy.
It wears off fast. Okay, so the Mongolians invaded Baghdad. And it wasn't Genghis Khan, it was his son Gubadai. And he only invaded Baghdad because he was hunting down another leader from another place that was trying to get away from the Mongolians. In the year 1258. We're in 2023.
Whoa.
So that's like
Half of
9. That's about 800 years, give or take.
half of AD ago.
Yeah, half AD ago.
That's crazy.
Mongolia invaded Baghdad and burned Baghdad, which was like one of the largest cities in the world at the time. The most advanced city in the world at the time. Astronomy, mathematics, and all this stuff.
Along the Euphrates.
Along the Euphrates. Baghdad, up to now, I mean, this is what a historian, I listened to Dan Carlin, and he does like a lot of first-person research, people that were there, stories of people that were actually there.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, what he said was Baghdad today has not fully recovered from the collapse of when the Mongols invaded and burned Baghdad 800 years ago.
Holy shit. And then we went and leveled a little bit more of it
We leveled a little bit more of it.
in the 90s and the 2000s.
In 800 years, that city has not recovered from what it was previously. The gem of the empire. You know what I mean? Like,
We can blame the Husseins for that.
yeah, we could blame the Husseins for that. So, anyways, God, we were all over the place today, weren't we?
That's okay.
I'm glad you came by, man.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, no, let's do this again. If you want to bring your friend on,
Definitely.
let's do it. And
I don't know if he'd be down
This-
or not, but I'll definitely.
this
try.
was probably one of my longest ones, but it was certainly one of the longest and like most interesting ones.
Did we hit 3 hours?
Oh yeah, we're at 3:40. It's definitely one of
Dude.
my longest ones.
It's like half a day. It doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't.
I'm ready to go another 3 right now.
Any final notes?
Peace to the Middle East. Peace to Israel.
Yeah.
Peace to Palestine.
Peace to Israel and Palestine. You know
Fuck
what I
all
mean?
terrorists.
Fuck terrorists. Fuck terrorists.
Tomorrow's another day.
You know, I always tell this to Jeanette and Fabuloso. Is
I love that guy.
everybody deserves to like have a family and to grow old and watch their family grow old.
Amen.
Watch their children, grandchildren grow old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody deserves that. And nobody has the right to take that away from anybody at all,
No.
whatsoever.
That's the definition of oppression.
Right.
And
Oppression
genocide.
and genocide. Doesn't matter where you're from in the world. You, me, anybody. We should be able to grow old with our loved ones and watch our children grow into great people too.
Amen.
Amen to that, right?
Amen.
And both the Israelis and Palestinians deserve that too.
Yeah.
That's it.
But I mean, there are a lot of those people who want what we want, freedom.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody should have the opportunity to live that, to enjoy it.
Amen.
Amen.
Cheers to
Cheers,
that.
my friend. Dude, it's almost midnight. Oh, it is past midnight.
It doesn't feel like it, man. That was fun. As light and as deep to the dark that we went. That was
It was
a
good.
one.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you came by, Ardy.
Thanks, man. We'll do it again.
Let's do it again for reals.
All right.
All right. You have a good night, man.
You
That
too,
was
brother.
it. Bye.